The partnership with AMD has been great. In Far Cry 6, the team has built the most ambitious open world in franchise history, filled with lush tropical environments and decaying urban landscapes. To push the visual fidelity of our game and immersive gaming experience, we've been collaborating with AMD to implement next-gen rendering techniques like DirectX ray tracing and AMD Fidelity Effects features. When implementing these next-gen features, we were challenged because we want the majority of players to have an enjoyable, smooth experience without having to turn their settings down. Using upscaling technology like AMD Fidelity Effects Super Resolution helps us address this problem because it means more players can enjoy Far Cry 6 with their graphic settings cranked up and without compromising frame rate. FSR is a cutting-edge spatial upscaling solution. It's easy to integrate into our development pipeline, and it delivers substantial performance boost while retaining excellent image quality on the highest quality setting. Additionally, we believe AMD's GPU Open and the support for open standards and platforms drive innovation forward. We can't wait until October 7th when players will finally get the chance to see all the hard work we've put into Far Cry 6. It's very exciting that we're getting closer to showcasing to players the game, powered by the latest AMD technologies.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the AMD The Esports Club Challenger Series 1 Finals Week, supported by Ubisoft, here with your hosts Blackjack and Babagusta, as we are here for this beautiful tournament for Rainbow Six Siege, here, as mentioned, at the Esports Club. It is going to be a fantastic night of one match, and if you're wondering why, we're in the quarterfinals, and that means every match from here on out is a best of 3. It's either going to be a 2-0 map score or a 2-1 map score, deciders or not, washes or not. We will find out very shortly indeed. And of course, the finals will be a best of 5. That is going to be on Sunday. And we're going to have a fairly lengthy week of some good old-fashioned Rainbow Six competitive on your screens today. But before we do, Baba Gusta, how are you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling good for today, Jack. It's been a while since we casted. I mean, it's been almost a week.
2
Last
weeks,
thing,
actually,
yeah,
if I
yeah,
recall
it's
correctly. Nearly.
nearly, because of the Mexico majors, we couldn't get able to, host for go host for the tournament for now. But talking about this, the quarterfinals, and talking about our quarterfinalists: Sunset Ninjas, Kira Esports, Sage Empire, MRCZ, Red Vipers, Monkey Hunters, High Five, and Team GG. These 8 teams will fight off to be crowned as the champions of the Esports Club Challenger Series. Who will it be, and who will it be not? We are almost at the end phase, but for now, we just have to talk about the quarterfinals. And the first match that we're going to be seeing will be none other than Sunset Ninjas go up against Kira Esports. Now, we all know who Kira Esports is. We all know who Sunset Ninjas are. We've seen their performance way back. And now, this is it, their final hurdle. Will we see Sunset Ninjas defeat the titans of our South APAC region, Kira Esports, or will Kira Esports just establish dominance against them in quarterfinals and also get the spot in the grand finals? Keep that in mind. Grand finals is a best of 5, so I would say that it will be a lengthy one, but also I will assure you, ladies and gentlemen, it will be an amazing match to cast at. Just like the match that we're going to be seeing, Sunset Ninjas and Kira Esports, it will be an amazing match to look at, Jack.
Oh, that it will be. Kira Esports, of course, needs no introduction at this point, having gone all the way to the APAC playoffs at that. Unfortunately, a less than stellar run, saw them get knocked out early, but they are here and they are willing once again to establish themselves as one of the teams at the very top of the pile of our region, especially seeing that we are very close to entering stage 3 of the esports season, 2021 esports season of Siege, which means that the SA Nationals will come back, I believe, sometime October. If
Hmm.
the majors are in November, then October will be the national. So yeah, that's a whole lot to look forward to, folks. But right now, looking forward to this match. G'day Sports, they've got a lot to prove to themselves and to the rest of their fans. And of course, just a little bit more here as well. But at the same time, Sunset Ninjas, they're a name that will be familiar to folks who've been following the scene for a long time. We've seen them ourselves, their highs and lows during the Pro League days of the Esports Club. But here they are once again to stake a claim for the best of the region. Now, as to whether or not they're going to be able to remains to be seen. After all, their opponent is Kira Esports. Not exactly an easy fight, some would say. But I have faith. I feel like they might be able to show us a good time tonight, especially seeing as the maps have, of course, already been picked and banned and all the like that goes in the back end before the match itself has begun. And we're going to have a quick look at that right now, in fact. So let's go into the map video, folks, as we transition through. There we go. Clubhouse, picked by Sunset Ninjas. Oregon will be map 2, picked by Kira Esports. Villa is our decider.
Boy, it always has to be Villa to be the decider map. It either is Villa or map Chalet. And I still remember
Hmm.
there used to be a meme saying that whatever you do, do not play a best of 5 match with Villa or on Oregon.
I
Yes,
believe
we
that's
just we just simply agree on it and just move on
yeah.
and just
I believe
continue
that's
playing these maps
Empire,
anyway.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Empire who
Yeah,
made that meme.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They actually did made that meme after all. But yeah, talk about the Mexico majors. What exactly happened in that previous week was an amazing experience, and also we get to see the rise of some amazing, teams, especially in the South APAC region. Not to mention Dangwon Kia, amazing performance
Hmm.
from them. Unfortunately, couldn't get to go up against Empire, I believe, who just went up against them, lost the spot in the semi-finalists, and we saw Empire be in the grand finals against Team One. Team One, is considered to be as the champions for the Mexico Majors. Congratulations to them. Followed up with Team Liquid on second prize. But for now, I know I'm just talking way about the Mexico Majors, and now we just have to focus for our Challenger series, where Kira Esports is going to fight up against Sunset Ninjas. And last time I remember, I believe CCV was with me in the previous matchup, and Sunset Ninjas went up against. Uh, I believe that was Team Espada. Yeah, Sunset Ninjas went up against Team Espada on map Clubhouse. In the first half, we saw Espada make some amazing performance in the first half, which was 4-2 in halftime. Next thing you know, Sunset Ninjas immediately brought back up in the second half, winning CCTV cash rooms, second floor gym and bedroom, and then they forced Espada to put on overtime, and they won in
Hmm.
the end. So talk about Espada's performance. It was going so well that it was way too much predictive for Sunset Ninjas to realize what's happening, and they took care of that advantage, knowing that they were way too much predictable. And I believe Super Hercules was the one who did shut down the Ninja Freak from the main stage when the site was on basement church and Arsenal room. Unfortunately, couldn't get the win, and again we will see Espada, unfortunately being eliminated out. But yeah, for Sunset Ninjas, an amazing comeback for them. 8-6, Jack. 8-6
Hmm.
on map Clubhouse. What was your thought of that specific match?
I mean, sure, I wasn't there to cast that game, but I was watching. Once I managed to get up and get ready and all the stuff that you do on a on a morning, if you will.
Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah, that match was something else. I have to say, especially Espada after their really really good run overall between two qualifiers, they were looking strong, and to be eliminated by Sons and Ninjas, that too from a comeback of all things, really speaks to how both teams were going all in and they wanted this place in the quarterfinals. Unfortunately for Espada, one team at the end of the day does have to lose, and well, Sunset Ninjas find themselves here. Speaking of, that same day's worth of matches, Kid Sports fought Clickbait, if I recall correctly, and well, it wasn't too much of a competition for Kid Sports. They ended up winning, I believe it was 7-3, although it was UNCCV that day as well. Again, just
Yep.
watching the matches, keeping up with things and noting things down as it were. And yeah, Kid Sports overall a fairly strong performance from them. It was on Coastline, mind you, so that map is not here today, which means things will be slightly different for Kid Sports' their overall strategy. They have to change things around, make sure they adapt to Clubhouse, to Oregon, and most importantly to Sunset Ninja's style of play. And speaking of both of these teams right here, if you're wondering where the match itself is, folks, we'll be going live with it in just a short while. Don't worry, just waiting on Kira Esports all to join in, and then we can get the go ahead once the teams are ready and get right into it, as they say. But before we do, it is just us here, the BNB, as they say. As Yeah, Sunset Ninjas overall, they've had a pretty interesting run in the tournament, I would say. I feel like they've got a shot, but they're going to have to play some of the best seeds that they've played in this Challenger series to really get themselves a good chance of going to the semifinals. And it doesn't get any easier from there, because they'll be fighting another big team, and if they somehow manage to make it to the finals, it'll have already been a magical run. And the finals themselves, I mean, it's a best of five. It would be extremely tiring for Sunset Ninjas. So, yeah, they've got a very long, very grueling path ahead of them. Kira Sports, not to say that they've got it any easier. They are a team, however, with more experience, and they've been to BO5s and BO3s many, many times before. So they'll know what to do here. They'll know somewhat of what to do against Sunset Ninjas as well, having, seen them on stream and probably faced them before as well. That is why this match is set to be a fairly interesting one, as Kira Esports will be defending first on Clubhouse. Clubhouse, of course, itself is the pick of Sunset Ninjas, and they're going to be going on the attack. Kira Esports on the defense, interestingly enough, as Clubhouse, we all sort of know it as the defender-sided map that it's been called over the years, especially after its I should say map buff. I believe it was termed as a map buff when it was revealed. So after its map buff, it's definitely been very defender sided, but on certain days between certain teams, or just sometimes the map kind of just feels like it, becomes attacker sided. So I'm gonna need to get an eye on those stats if anybody has those. I'm just kidding, of course. But yeah, Kira Sports, they've got a good shot at winning this, especially starting on the very, very right foot, if you will, the front foot, for all of our cricket aficionados out there. Uh, Defense first on Clubhouse just does a lot of things, especially going into attack. If you manage to take a lead, then you'll be putting your opponents on a lot of pressure. And Sunset Ninjas are going to need, they're gonna need all of that pressure taken off of them, or to put that pressure on Kira Esports. And that is going to be their main challenge today. Can they pressure Kira Esports into, I wouldn't say a corner, but can they pressure them into a position where they can take advantage of?
I mean, talk about Sunset Ninjas. I'd have to say that the amount of time that they have to practice, to go, go for scrims, should have to, at least, you know, give them a guarantee saying that they're prepped and ready to go up against Kira Esports. Because, you know, talk about her, talk about the history of Kira Esports. I still remember the day where they defeated CAG in the playoff. That was on map
Mhm.
Chalet, 8-7. Like, CAG did not expected Kira Esports to win overtime match points 8-7, but they succeeded. They did it. And now they're going up against Sunset Ninjas, which in fact wouldn't be much of a problem on the Kira side. But for Sunset Ninjas, they have to go all in. They have to check the previous wards. They need to see what kind of weaknesses they can exploit, even from both defensive as well as the offensive side. And Sunset Ninjas, although they've made some, huge repercussions in the first half when they were on the
Mm.
defensive side, I hope that they could fix their attack. I wouldn't say the attack pushes. I would say the the defensive side is where Sunset Ninjas needs to be careful of, especially on a map like Clubhouse. And I believe that this map is specifically picked on the side of Sunset Ninjas, and Kira Esports have picked Oregon. So I'd say that Sunset Ninjas on defense, their main issue was just that they're getting picked off quite faster. Uh, okay, looks like we just lost Jack on our face cam. And yeah, I think he's having some technical issues around here. So that means I will be all by myself. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we will still continue. And we're just, sorting out all the issues. And hopefully, Jack would be back at the right time. That actually rhymed though. Jack will be back. of course, Jack will definitely be back. But for now, just the viewers on the stream who are watching the stream right now, if you're wondering about the match, we are still waiting on the players on the side of Sunset Ninjas and Kira Esports to come in. Sunset Ninjas, there's still 2 players remaining. The same thing can be said to Kira Esports. We're still waiting for one more player on the side of the defensive side. And talk about the huge major changes happening in in the next phase. The introduction of Osa, the attacker, which you can, it's kind of similar to Mira's mirror, but instead it's more of like a deployable shield, where I wouldn't say that if it's more of like a game changing gadget, but I'd say that the entire change would be around Zophia's weapon nerf, and also the AK-12, in which the Ace has also been nerfed quite a bit as well. Not even mention, there are some major changes being made from Fuse's cluster charge, where you can use those cluster charge right from the reinforced wall. So expect a lot of Fuse mains coming back into the field and using those to deny most of the gadgets as well. So very excited for the next phase for Rainbow Six Siege. But for now, I'd say the Zofia. I mean, we'll still be able to see the Zofia's LMG being in play. The concussions, the impacts will be used, but I'd say that the Zofia mains will come back in the next phase. And for now, it's just you just have to depend upon Iana's Con 6, the Gemini replicator, and also a total of 2 grenades to help out and take out the utilities as best as possible. So very excited for the next phase. But for now, again, apologies for the delay, as we're just having issues on our end. Currently, Jack is experiencing some technical issues, and hopefully when his issues come back up right now, he'll come back and he'll be able to join and cast with us. But again, Sunset Ninjas, I'm actually running out of words, and I have no idea on what to say next. We're just waiting for one player on the side of Sunset Ninjas. We are also waiting for Kira Esports side as well. And yeah, just waiting for 2 more players so that we can enter in and play Map Clubhouse on our first quarterfinals matchup. Oh boy, this is going to be amazing. I mean, this is going to be interesting. I'm not going to lie. Again, I mean, connectivity issues happens all the time. We just can't, escape, nor try to fix it as soon as possible. It's just those kinds of issues where you cannot, where we like it's more of like out of our hands at this point. But I could talk more about the teams for the quarterfinalists. Very excited for the second quarterfinals match that I believe it will happen on tomorrow, which should be Sage Empire versus MRCZ. Now we all know who MRCZ is. You know they're the champions of South APAC, and I believe that their main problem, I would say the main players that they have to worry about would be none other than Monkey Hunters, Hi-Fi. I would just Monkey Hunters and Kira Esports, specifically, because these 3 teams have already gone up against each other in the even in the playoffs, even on the South APAC Nationals. These 3 teams have their own history, and going up against themselves in the semifinalist matchup will be an amazing match to look at. So yeah, I do have to apologize. I do have to apologize again with all of these issues being held out, because that is a lot of problems being happening, especially with the players not being able to join in, and also the server issues that has been happening around. But hopefully, I think we're going to take a bit of a break. Oh, never mind. Jack is here. Jack
Yee.
is back. There you go. Where have you been?
I don't know. I got
It's all
banished to
right.
the
Yeah.
shadow realm right there.
Uh,
Uh, I think
like
you can see
how
I'm.
did you crawl back up from the shadow realm? I just want to know that story. Yeah.
Let's just say that
Hmm.
I managed to claw onto the edge of reality, and I just dragged myself back up. But
Yeah. You
yeah,
just
it,
took
it was
yourself a
a
boost from the top. Huh?
it was weird. I had a full scare with my internet just now. I apologize for that, folks. But yeah, I mean, I have been disconnected from everything. So
uh,
give me a moment, Baba. I'll let you continue the thought that you were continuing on.
I
as
mean,
I,
I've already made a talk about most of the teams, even the playoffs, and not even mention the other players. Like I've already have you know talked
right,
about the
right.
stuff. It's just that I was running out of words, so I thought maybe why not I make up more of like a refresher course and talk about the next patches which is going to happen. I talked about
Mm-hmm.
the Ace AK-12 nerf. I did even talked about the Sophia's recoil, patched up, the fuses cluster charge which could be used from deployable shields, actually not from deployable shield, reinforced walls. Oh boy, it's been a long time since I've heard that. Reinforced walls. Okay. Yeah, it's like how excited are you for the next in the next patch, knowing that the new operator Osa is going to bring in a lot more flavor, a lot more variety for the attackers, and
Mm.
quite possibly bring a huge change in the game of Rainbow Six Siege.
Oh yeah, Osa is going to be extremely like quite versatile. I feel like she might even be meta changing, but I'm going to reserve my thoughts on that until we get her in the live servers. Of course, she's currently on the technical test server for anybody who wants to play and get to know the operator a little better. But that shield, I tell you, with the kind of things it can already do, right? Like quickly breaching barricades if you cancel the animation, and just the fact that you can place that shield on upside down repels, have somebody behind it nearly completely safe. Of course, impacts and any other explosives might have something to say about that, but generally speaking, it acts like a deployable shield, except you can pick it up and walk with it like let's say you're a fuse shield. I can't really say Blitz shield because Blitz has that, charge. He charges with the shield in front of him and all of that. But overall, it should be a very, very interesting, interesting month or so to see where Osa fits in. And I am very, very interested to see what the community, what the pro scene can do with her. And of course, anybody who knows me or has played Rainbow Six with me knows that the thing that I am the most excited for is good old Fuse, right? My boy finally got a buff. Would you look at that? I mean, I say finally. Of course, he also got buffed before, where he went from 3 to four cluster charges. Floor cluster charges. Yes, that's a thing. Four
Yes.
cluster charges that
I mean,
he
it makes
had
sense,
received. Yeah,
It,
and then
it, it
now he
makes sense
can.
because Fuse requires a floor to use his cluster charges. So
Yeah, there you go, there you
yeah,
go.
yeah,
See, this is why we work together. Yeah, and also the fact that he can now go through reinforced walls and patches and all the like. You're going to need to have some protection on those walls, because if you don't, then expect a cluster charge. Sure, the main walls can be protected. Anyone can do that, right? Main wall, say CCTV main wall on Clubhouse, the one that we're going to be going to right now, that can be protected. But you still have other walls, other areas for Fuse to breeze through. And even if it takes 3 hours, 3 seconds longer than the usual deployment time, and it makes a bit of a loud noise, I still feel like it's gonna be useful in a lot more ways than Fuse already was. And overall, I'm very excited to see where that goes. I'm very excited to see where the other changes go. Of course, as of what I think the last to last TDS patch, they also reverted some of the recall changes made to Zophia's M762 and to Fuse and Ace's AK-12. And from what I've managed to see, Zofia has less horizontal kick, if you will. It doesn't lean as hard as it used to. It still has a solid vertical climb, so there will be some mouse pulling down required. And on the other hand, the AK-12 kind of seemed like it was before. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm gonna need to get my hands on that once again. Who knows? Maybe I'll boot up the test server tonight. I've had a rough couple of days this week with my internet already, as you can't already tell. But yeah, it will be very interesting to see how the new recoil plays out. But other than that, the map buffs coming to Bank, especially, I think a lot of people are now excited to see how Bank flows with the changes they've made to it. I'm personally, quite interested to see how Bank moves as a map now, and how, attackers and defenders move through it, given the admittedly not many changes, but the changes that have been made are very impactful, especially towards the skylight area, where all of those stone railings and stuff have been taken down, and it's been replaced with breakable ones, right? That is very good, because just the other day, literally just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I was playing Bank with my friends, and I had someone in my sights. I had to move while taking the shot because I was getting shot at, right? And guess what? 90% of my shots went into that railing. It had me kind of mad, I won't lie. So I'm very happy to see those things going away. Those things should not be there, and I'm happy that they won't be there anymore. But yeah, overall, the next season, Crystal Guard looks to be very good. Now, of course, you also have the whole thing about implementation and then post-launch updates and bug fixes, all of that stuff. And hopefully everything goes well. Northstar has been a bit of a weird season, a bit of a rough season as well, some would say. But overall, the changes, the way that new season Crystal Guard is looking, I am quite excited to get into it. In fact, I almost can't wait for the test period to be over and for the patch to go live. But we all know, this test period is important. We should give all of our feedbacks when and where possible, and make sure the devs are aware of what changes, what things need to be changed. Any game-breaking bugs and all of that. All of those need to be communicated. There's definitely a bit of a player to developer communication thing going on there, which is always nice to have. But yeah, like you said, Baba, Crystal Guard looks really good, and I am very interested to get into it. But what I am more interested to get into, folks, as Baba is, as you all at home are as well, is this match between Sunset Ninjas and Kid Esports. And yeah, we'll be getting into it very shortly. In fact, Kid Esports just has one player remaining to get in the lobby, and then we can get in. So before we do, Baba, any predictions for map 1, i.e. Clubhouse?
Well, since we've seen Sunset Ninjas show that they're capable in attack, I'd say that in first half, since Sunset Ninjas will be the one in attack, Wood might go for 3-3. And then in the second half, Kira Esports might make some amazing performance in the second half, and they just bring it back up to around like 7-5, 7-6. Actually, no, 7-4.
7-6 is an overtime. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obviously it's overtime.
Yeah.
I have no idea about the maximum overtime stuff, but still, I'd say that there is high likely chance where Kira Esports might win 7-5. And 5, saying that Sunset Ninjas is, good when it comes to both attack phase. They just have to worry about defense. But ladies and gentlemen, the wait is finally over. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
We have our match back on track. So without further ado, let's just jump in on our first quarterfinalist matchup. We have Sunset Ninjas on the blue side, Kida Esports on defense.
Let's
we
go.
will head into the ban phase of the quarterfinals. And just as I was talking about it, we will see the first ban coming in from Kira Esports. Thatcher will be the one who gets taken out. It is quite common at this point. Mike Baker will be able to take his retirement in the ban phase itself. So you can just have a seat, relax, have a cup of coffee, maybe
get some popcorn.
Yeah, have some maybe have some popcorn and just see how maybe if the students would just come in and look at him and see whether if we can give them some pointers. But for now, talking about the second bans on the attack side, we will see Kira. Actually, this is Sunset Ninjas ban. They will ban the Mountain. Quite an interesting pick though, because most of the time you would either see a Jackal, maybe a hard breacher ban like an Ace or a Maverick, especially on a map like Clubhouse. They've decided to ban the Mountain instead. Quite possibly do so because of the way how Montaigne provides good amount of protection for their team. So it's quite possible enough why Sunset Ninjas don't want to be dealing with that attacker. The second ban will come in from Sunset Ninjas as they'll be able to ban the Kaid. Electro Claws are very difficult when it comes to destroying them. But if you have a Bandit Charge or a Mute Jammer, that wouldn't be much of a problem to take out. All you just need is just use a vertical line of sight and you can just take it out. Simple as that. And the final ban, which will be the Valkyrie. Ban on the side of Kira Esports. They don't want information on the hands of Sunset Ninjas, especially runouts like maybe on the strip club entrance and also or right in towards the stock entrance as well. That's mainly where the attackers would spawn in towards warehouse. But for now, let's just introduce the rosters on the side of Sunset Ninjas. We have Zane, Shaitan, Montrosky, Lefty, and Super Hercules. Oh boy, I'm getting way too excited for this. And on the side of Kira Esports, we have Nostalgia, Atharv, Envy, Death Amar, and And last but not the least, Rhymes with Buck, as the first site will come in. Second floor CCTV and Cash Room will be the site. And I give my mic back to Jack.
Thank you for that fantastic intro to the game, Babagust, as we are now in it, folks. It is match number 1 of the quarterfinals and map number 1 of this best of 3. Sunset Ninjas on the attack, and they're going to be attacking the site of CCTV and Cash Room, a site that, of course, we've all seen time and time again, and most of the setups, I think, from Kira starting off will be fairly familiar to all of our viewers at home. You're going to have ADSs on Catwalk, you're going to have the mute jammers jamming away on the walls and all the like, and, of course, with the Kaid ban coming in, no electrical interference, but that is to be expected. Again, Kaid ban is going to follow a Thatcher ban when it comes to a match like this, on a map like this. So all things considered, not a bad start in terms of bans. Fairly standard, but yeah, Envy, wait a minute. Is that a spawn peak? It is indeed. Any of the attackers, are they suspecting it? I don't think so, not quite yet. Isn't he still there? He seems to be, but he's gonna have to bail soon, and he probably already has. As I say that, of course, given that the Hibana has made her way, Shaitan that is, towards that garage wall. The 2 double walls that need to be breached. But wait a minute, has the drone seen one? Yes, it has, and a third. Oh dear me. I think he wanted to give his team an early advantage, an early kill. Unfortunately, it was not to be. Got himself caught and taken care of quite quickly. And that's the first one down for Kira Esports.
Yeah, that's one down, Jack. And talk about Kira Esports feeling the pain right from the first round itself. Envy taking quite a lot of damage from the CCTV site. He needs to be careful when it comes to engaging those angles right from outside the CCTV window. Here comes the Mavericks reaching towards. Sees the head. Can he get the shot? No, he does not. Goes in for a pre-fire. Followed up with the impact. Nade steals so much damage, and yet Monstrosky survives. And he will get the double, taking out Envy. It looks like they're losing quite a lot of players around. Atharv and Envy taking care of the hands of Monstrosky, who has the diffuser in hand. Not to mention, he's even the hard breacher as well. Will succeed in opening up the CCTV and also open up the walls towards garage. Now they have to focus on entering towards the site. Death Armor patiently waiting, sees the leg. Just needs to arrive at the right time, but he doesn't have the information though. It's going to put Death Armor in a very difficult place, but there you go, Montrosky, shut down. Looks like Death Armor will take care of that opportunity. C4 comes in from Nostalgia. Will it connect? No, it does not. It is way too far. I wouldn't say way too far. It was way too near for them to get it out. But here comes another kill from Shaitan, taking out Death Armor.
Oh boy, here we go. Shots are being fired all over the place as Nostalgia finds Shaitan. And now it is a 3v2. Nostalgia and Rhymes with Buck are the last 2 standing for the side of Kira Esports. Zane, Lefty, and Super Hercules have their work cut out for them, but they've got the diffuser, and they've only got 2 more smoke canisters to deal with. Lefty's gonna find Nostalgia, leaving Buck the last one. He's gonna go up, and he will. Can he find the planter? No, not quite. There's got to be cover on the rappel. Yes, there is. And he still managed to find the headshot right at the end, a trade, as that will be the kill confirm that Sunset Ninjas needed to start off on the right foot. And oh boy, is it the right foot to start off on. What a round from Sunset Ninjas. Overall, very, very good. Taking down a third early with the use of drones and intel and communication, and of course, just simply going from there. They suffered a few setbacks, admittedly. Atharv had some to say from down below. And of course, we did at the end see Rhymes with Buck take a kill, but that was a trade or potentially just, you know, like he killed the guy on the rappel, but got killed by the other Sunset Ninjas attacker who was in the site right next to the planter. And all in all, good round from SN. A little wobbly from Kira Esports, but we've known this from them before in best of threes. They like to take their time to start up, and this might just be exactly that.
Well, I have to agree on that, Jack. Talk about Sunset Ninjas. Amazing start off for Montrosky. 2 kills, knowing that Atharv was going in for a bit of a peek right from outside the windows of Billiard's room. He thought that he could have taken out Montrosky, and that too if Athar did get that early kill. He would have got the confirmation saying that the diffuser has been down, and even the hard breach were taken care of. They had to deny, they mainly had to, focus mainly either from Hibana's Iskaros pellets or from the Mavericks breaching top. But that did not happen for Kira Esports because Sunset Ninjas took care of that opportunity nice and cleanly, and now they just have to do it once more. Talk about once more, Sunset Ninjas will be doing the same thing. The Hibana's Iskaros pellets to use to open up lines of sight, but gets denied in the hands of Envy. That is what I like to call adaptations coming in from Kira Esports. A good read from them, and also the Bandit making sure that he won't be able to take out the Iskaros pellets. But for now, it's a bit too late because the Maverick just made sure that Envy would come in for that peak. But wait a minute, he might be able to find one. But the Hibana's way too fast. Sees the head, doesn't go in for the connect. He just needs to get that one peak. Triple peaks. Won't be able to find one, and it's best to fall back. And it's best to use the C4s to a very good spot right from the default plant on CCTV.
That is true. Right now, things are a little less active for Sunset Ninjas. Of course, they can't quite get that first kill just yet. They're going to need to do a little bit more work before they can get themselves back in. But that smoke grenade could be influential, though not quite yet. I think it was just thrown in to burn the ADS to let Manchowski take care of the wall that he has already done. And that will, of course, give them, the attackers, a lot of room to work with Zayn already on the CCTV window as well, and with Shaitan and Lefty now converging towards Garage. Super Hercules on the rappel on the CCTV balcony, that little ledge right outside the main wall. Yeah, there we go. Jones spotting where those defenders are. This is going to be Sunset Ninja's round to give away if they unfortunately do not clinch it out from here. They have positions, they have some level of intel. Now all they need is the kills. Oh, Shaitan barely had the head right there. I believe that was Dathamer right on Garage first floor, and he will actually go down. That's Super Hercules to take that kill. The first one is Umar to go down. Zayn's already in. Wait a minute. He's gotten one. Can he get two? Yes, he does. He's already inside of sight. And Kid Esports, big slip up from them, but he's surviving everything. Well, not for long. Ramsey Buck is here. He finds one. He finds two. And that's going to be Super Hercules and Zayn down. The two that had gotten the kill so far. But can he find one more? Right on the garage door. No, not quite. Shots fired. Buck is running around all over the place. Sees one, but no. Shaitan was already in position, waiting to pull the trigger, and he did in the right time. The Hibana takes the kill, and once again, Sunset Ninjas catching Kira Esports in ways that I don't think Kira were necessarily looking for, or they just got caught off guard. Potentially speaking, of course, as Sunset Ninjas will start strong with a 2-0 lead going into the third round.
Oh man, this is a different version of Sunset Ninjas I'm seeing at this point. I mean, Zayn, right from that CCTV, just immediately caught Kira Esports off guard. Looks like Sunset Ninjas did do their homework after all. The same thing cannot be said to Kira Esports, though. They've lost two of their important defensive rounds. They've made a decision to go back to Basement Church and Arsenal Room. Now, this specific site has the higher chances for the defenders to win, unless and until if they lose control from the main stairs. Now, main stairs, there will always be one of those, at least one of the attackers who gets to hold an angle right from the dummy spot where the Arsenal Room is, and there will be at least one of the defenders who will be holding an angle from both tunnel as well as the kitchen hatch. If you take care of that angle, and if you take care of the K9 angles, then that means the attackers will be free to go in for the plant from the default site itself. If that did not work, they could immediately, go for a push from Church by opening up the hatches in towards bar, use the exothermic charge to blow up the wall from Basement Church, and go in for the plant, plain and simple. The only difference is that with the Aruni gates being placed, they will be forced to take out or maybe expend some of their utilities. But if it's too late, then they'll have to force themselves to go down, which in fact will get themselves deal with some major damage from it. But yeah, 2-0 Jack. And Sunset Ninjas in a very good start. Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think it's going to happen the same on round 3?
There is always a chance, but at the same time, given the site change, Sunset Ninjas, of course, now have to try and figure out how Kira Esports are going about defending this Basement Church Arsenal site. Now, of course, it's yet to be seen how things will, shape up. Of course, it's the beginning of the round. I mean, what am I saying? But wait a minute. Oh, dear me. That's not too good. Deathamer with a little bit of a disconnect. I feel like he's going to have to reconnect as soon as possible. But his team has now been left in a 5v4. Already, they were having some issues, and Deathamer was the opening kill for Sunset Ninjas on both rounds. So, not the best start for him personally. But that disconnect isn't going to help things either. He's back, of course. Just seems like a quick disconnect had to have happened there, which means we will continue as normal, hopefully. And in the meanwhile, Kira Esports simply have to figure how to go about things with 4 players instead of 5.
Yeah, that's going to hurt a lot for Kira Esports though, because with that Tama taken care of, they need to figure out a way to lessen their aggressive plays from Sunset Ninjas, especially Zane and Super Hercules. Both of them are making such amazing plays. Look at that C4, which will get popped out from the kitchen hatch. Thinking that there may be one of the attackers. Less information for the defenders will have less problems. When I say less problems, they just have to go it with their guts instead of confirming their information. So it's not going to look too well for Kira, so they just have to rely on patience and wait for Sunset Ninjas to make their move, especially when they drop down from the kitchen hatch. Talk about Athar, who has been in a very difficult spot. There you go, Zane. Finally find one. Athar, who was thinking of making a quick rotate way back from the hole being made. But unfortunately, it was too late. That's going to cost Kira Esports one more player.
Indeed, Lefty in the meanwhile has taken quite a bit of damage. That's from Rhymes with Buck tossing gas grenade after gas grenade his way, but Montrosky's already in. Plant's already happening. The Maverick's gonna push in regardless. Gonna get found by Envy. Hercules finds Rhymes with Buck. Hercules goes down as well. Nostalgia comes in with that one, but the plant's off. It's 3v2 post plant with Nostalgia going up the stairs. Envy finds the head of Montrosky. The planter's down, but they have to watch the main stairs. Are the attackers doing that? I think they are. Yes, that is Zane watching on the main stairs. You have the Hibana on the hatch, so they know what to expect right now. But can they hold it? Yes. Unfortunate. Envy going for the counter defuse way too early right there, but Nostalgia can still win it. Does he know where the Hibana is? Yes, he does. Swings and takes the kill right in time as well. Covering up for the mistakes made in the round. Nostalgia with a 1v2 clutch to give Kira Esports their first round. They needed this. They sorely needed this after the kind of mistakes that they've made this entire round. Envy and Nostalgia together, they needed to do something about it, and they did. Nostalgia bringing in the counter defuse, and now the score has lit up slightly. 2-1. Kira Esports put themselves with their first round on the board.
Boy, Sunset Ninjas, they got way too comfortable on that. Damn. And Nostalgia, good recovery from him. Taking out 2 of the players from kitchen. Did make sure that Sunset Ninjas won't be able to win the site on Basement Church and Arsenal Room as of now. And Envy, my goodness, an amazing shot with the Pete and Roney 2 right into towards the default site of the Arsenal Room. It was however, had a lot of problems dealing with the player from kitchen hatch. Nostalgia did take care of that, and they will, however, win one of their rounds. But Sunset Ninjas, they had that opportunity. They even had the plant. It was a post-plant situation for Sunset Ninjas. It was about to be 3-0. And with Kira Esports stealing one of their rounds, this will cause a huge blow into their attack coordination. Not to mention, they're going back to second floor CCTV, Jack. They haven't made a decision to go back from second floor gym. So, if Sunset Ninjas lose second floor CCTV, then we will see not only just the equalizer, but also Kira Esports' plan coming into play.
That we could, actually. It is a very real possibility of that happening. I'll give you that, Baba. But right now, Sunset Ninjas, they've taken this site twice in a row. And both times with nearly no difficulty, I should point out as well. So Kira Esports still have their work cut out for them, but that first round, especially, stealing it the way they did, the way Nostalgia did from Sunset Ninjas, that is going to be a huge moral factor for the side of Kira Esports and for Sunset Ninjas. It's going to be huge for both because, as we all know, the mental game, especially in longer form matches, is extremely important. As we have the breaches coming in on the main wall of CCTV, the standard stuff, Nostalgia is just setting up his corner, his little area of defense here on Catwalk of Garage. Envy, interestingly enough, is all the way towards logistics. Hold on a minute. Probably has an idea of somebody being close to that hatch, but Zane is going to start things off, and that's Deathamer gone again. Is that 3 CCTV rounds, and 3 times Deathamer is the first one to go down? Somebody check that for me. But, yeah, that's not good. The Jaeger's gone, and Zane has been doing a lot of work early. Within the first 3 rounds, he's already 5-2 up, and Shaitan's going to find Envy. That's your Ella gone. 2 off the board, and Kira Esports are in a heap of trouble already.
Not looking too good for Kira Esports. Zane is just doing so much damage on Kira Esports' defense maneuvers, and it is causing a huge amount of pain in their defensive hold. That's not until they figure out a way to destroy one of them, as a Tharv uses the SMG-11 to get a shot from the Maverick. Decides to go in for the quick peek, but it's best to fall back. Numerous attempts failed on the side of the mute. Now he will decide to go in and hold the angle from CCTV. But this Sunset Ninjas, the way how they're pushing right now, 3 players from construction, 1 pushing in from CCTV. Not even mention, even the windows is also taken care of in just 45 seconds. The push needs to happen from Sunset Ninjas, and they're slowly pushing in. This split push might be a good way to eliminate players one by one. Even if one of the defenders gets taken care of, the immediate refrag will come in, as Super Hercules will come in to take out a third, making it a 5v2. Sunset Ninjas very strong on attack. The smoke gas canisters will come in from Rhymes with Buck. He will use one to make sure that the breach will not happen. A huge blow from Zane, and Shaitan with the final kill. Make sure that Sunset Ninjas will get yet another win on round 4, second floor CCTV and cash room. We will see a 3-1 scoreline up against Kira Esports. What amazing performance being made. And talk about Kira Esports, the main problem that they have to be dealing with would be none other than Zane and Super Hercules. Like at the beginning itself, like you said, Jack, Deathamer has been taken care of 3 times in a row. 3 times. And it's all because of Zane. If they, or would I say, if Deathamer doesn't get the early kill taking out Zane in the early rounds, then I'd say that Kira Esports will face numerous amount of problems in mid and late game, because they are losing players. They are losing players in the early rounds. And if you lose players, and then when the attackers decides to, blow up those walls and decides to, go for that execute, they will succeed nonetheless. And Sunset Ninjas have succeeded in gaining control of the site 3 times, and Nostalgia, with a bit of his luck, he just slowly made his way towards the stairs. They even had the plan down. They just had to eliminate 2 of the players. Yes, it was mainly the mistake of Zane, who didn't get the final kill off of the Melusi. I mean, we already know that the R4C has also been like they've increased the recoil of the gun, so would have been better if you could have used the GT36, but still Zane shows that even with the nerfs being made from the R4C, it is still deadly if you control the recoil. It can happen. And the proof is right in front of our eyes, Jack. We already know that this would happen, and he will continue to to use that weapon and destroy Kira Esports' defensive hold and even win most of those gunfights.
Yeah, that's there's definitely a lot to be done for the side of Kira Esports for sure, especially on that CCTV defense as we have seen so far. But right now, what we're looking at is a gym bedroom defense. So things will be a little different here. CCTV itself still has a lot of importance, but Shaitan is simply going to open up a little entryway and probably leave it at that. But Envy was in the region. He's taking a bit of damage, contesting a gunfight somewhere, so he's got to be careful on how he decides to approach this. After all, Frost 9mm C1 is good, but against some of the attacker weapons on display here, it can be very tough. As a grenade goes in, there we go. Lefty's going to get that in and take care of any denial that's right behind that wall. get it open and get things going. Minute 43 on the clock, and that, of course, is going to give the side of Sunset Ninjas quite a bit of room to work with, as Lefty is trying to get to work on breaching this. Oh, that was so close. He nearly got his head taken off right there. And that was a third directly under the hatch. He knew what to expect, but unfortunately, the shots came maybe just a smidgen too late. And that, of course, allowed the Maverick to walk away freely.
But that would have been a jump scare and a half for the Maverick. Yeah. Talk about Envy though. So close. He sees the head of the Ivana but doesn't get the shot nonetheless. Now Envy needs to either fall back and be aggressive. Again, a lot of bullets being used, but the first strike will come in from Rhymes with Buck taking out Zane, and Envy still contesting the angle. It should force Shaitan to fall back. A lot of it's being taken out, but here comes Envy. Run out from construction window. Take out Shaitan, but Super Hercules is still in. He has the control on CCTV, but no, he's going to lose that gunfight to Hercules again. The control on Cash Room is in the hands of Sunset Ninjas, but Atamar is still alive. He's making plays as well. Taking out Lefty. The grenade will come in from Super Hercules. A bit worried about the plays in towards logistics. I believe one of the defenders will slowly make their way. Again, a huge peek from the Mira, and she will win. Rhymes with Buck, takes out Montrosky. Now Super Hercules is the last man standing, and that will Rhymes with Buck. As we see Kira Esports win round 5, 3-2 will be the score line. We'll proceed to round 6 to see whether Sunset Ninjas will keep the lead 4-2 or will Kira Esports equalize it 3-3.
Well, that's the thing. From what we're seeing so far, it would appear that, Sunset Ninjas know exactly what to do for CCTV, but Church Arsenal and Bedroom Gym have not gone that same way. They haven't been able to get those first kills. They haven't been able... Well, I would still say that Church Arsenal, Sunset Ninjas actually were doing pretty well on that round, because overall their performance was good. It was just that the post plant, I don't know exactly what happened there, why Zane... Well, he of course had to go and stop the counter defuse from going off from the Aruni. But at the same time, he could have left that up to Hibana, who was right there with him. Shaitan could have taken care of that, and Zane himself could have kept watching for Nostalgia coming up the main stairs. But, of course, that didn't happen. Some miscommunications or maybe some indecisions there costed them the round. So there is a chance of Sunset Ninjas still going 4-2 into the half, and that will give them a huge advantage over Kira Esports on this map, because they're going into defense on Clubhouse on the second half. Now, I know defense on Clubhouse in the second half, especially in the context of this map, doesn't necessarily hold the same meaning as it otherwise does. But even then, Kira Esports have been using that defender-sided-ish nature of this map to their advantage, and they've gotten a couple of rounds off of that. One, of course, was a 1v2 clutch, the bedroom round that we just had. Admittedly, quite close, but at the end of it all, Sunset Ninjas, unfortunately, didn't quite manage to get through the way that they wanted to. So they're going to have to try and change things around, give themselves a little bit more room to work with, and take care of a couple of operators before really executing on the site. They need those early kills. Especially against Kira Esports, you will always value those early kills regardless, folks. And that is something that Sunset Ninjas for this round will need to emphasize.
That's a tall order for Kira Esports, though, getting the early kill, because Zane has already been doing that. Right, for the previous 2 rounds, on round 2 and round 4. But yeah, just they have to be a bit careful. And when I say being careful, Super Hercules comes in with the cluster charge, trying to remove players from the logistics, or maybe into his kitchen. No, he's just trying to get at least one of those cluster charges to enter in towards the Arsenal room, and I believe he's still trying to do that. Although it would have been better if you open up lines of sight, then go upstairs and use those cluster charges. Maybe that could have worked out in the end. So we see Death Hammer with the K1A. Not quite sure if it's the K1A or just the crossbow, which has 30 bullets instead of just 1. I mean, at this point, it's technology. Anything can happen, I mean, you can use a crossbow which has a huge fire rate.
Yeah.
I mean, that can happen. I mean, we can still dream of it. I mean, there are a huge amount of inventions. But for now, talking about the match in hand here, as Envy has the information, but now he needs to figure out a way to destroy them.
That he does. He's got a C4, he's got a shotgun, and of course he's got close range viability, but Death Armor on the first floor, he's found Shaitan. Big early kill, and he just about gets away. No, not quite. Wanted to emphasize on the main stage door, and unfortunately got taken down by Super Hercules, who was coming around from Bar. Big drop right there, as that trade was much needed. Now, the issue here is Shaitan is dead. Yep, that's your Heart Breacher, your Hibana. He's off board. Manchowski is still here, mind you. He can still get the hatches as and when required, but it's a lot riskier for him as Zane's coming in, and there we go. Envy tried something on the main stairs, unfortunately got taken down for his trouble, and that's going to leave with Lefty. One more down. Nostalgia off the board. That was the man with the clutch in the previous round. As the gas grenades go in, Lefty's off the board. He was too low on health. Another one goes in, and that's going to stop the plan, but no, Manchowski's still going for it as the paints come in from the evil eye of the Maestro. Will he manage to disable it? No, he's emphasizing on this way too much. He needs to go for the plan. Somebody needs to take care of the Maestro Cam anyway. Shots are fired, and he's down! Rhymes with Buck manages to get the shot through the racks, and that is going to be Kita Esports taking another round. Well played. Even in the face of adversity, they were down 2v4. But they managed to bring it back. The gas grenade, finding the Maverick, and the evil of the Maestro proving to be just far too much of a nuisance for the plant to happen. And Montrosky, unfortunately, ended up leaving far too much wiggle room for the smoke to finish him off. That was good coordination between Kita Esports' remaining members there, as they were the ones to bring it in for themselves when their team needed it so badly. And now they're in a good position, 3-3, going into round 7, effectively resetting the counter and starting from scratch.
Defenders, protect your
Well,
bombs
Jack,
from being defused
this
by
is
attack.
what I like to call the Maverick and the smoke. Wait a minute. No, I was supposed to say the Maestro and the smoke, because, you know, it just, you know, if the smoke is the one who is singing, I'd say the Maestro would be the composer for destruction. And the way how it works hand in hand, the smoke grenades forcing the thermite to place in a different place, whereas the Maestro was just waiting to compose his
10
songs
seconds
of
left before insertion.
defeat. That was actually a good,
5 seconds left
a
before
good
insertion.
way for Kita Esports to deny most of the post
Attackers'
run, because
objective is to
Sunset
locate a
Ninjas
bomb
were
and defuse it.
mainly focused on that, and they took care of it in the previous round, and they did it well. 3-3, and now talk about round 7. The site being on second floor CCTV and cache. This is where we have to see whether Sunset Ninjas are confident enough in their defensive maneuvers, because last time I remember going up against last time I remember the match against Team Espada, things didn't quite go well in their favor, but again going up against Kita Esports in the attack phase and Zane going aggressive this time,
That is...
have to be careful. They really have to be careful at this point.
Yeah, that was quite aggressive. Wow, all right then.
Yeah, it is quite aggressive though, knowing that Zane contesting from the CCTV window. I understand, like, where there's huge risk comes great responsibility, and if that Jaeger gets taken down right from the CCTV, then I would have said Sunset Ninjas would have been in big trouble.
I mean, yeah, had Zane been taken down right there, it would have been very, very tough for the side of... excuse me while I deal with that.
Yes, I believe that's the Sledge trying to use his hammer to fix up stuff. But yeah, talking about Kira Esports though, rhymes with Buck already into Versa Logistics, whereas Death Armor is slowly making his way into Versa Construction. Although he doesn't have the information via the attack drone, so he's just waiting for one of the players to provide him information so that he can push in. Here comes the Ace Summer Breach charge to open up walls into Versa Construction, but unfortunately it gets blocked out. Not for long, as the Third comes in with the grenade, cooked, cleaned and precise, will take out the mute jammers and will succeed in opening up the walls. Look at that. That's a beautiful use of the Ace Summer Breach charges to open up so much rooms of walls and also a lot of rooms of sight.
Oh yeah, that construction wall is very, very important to open up. But wait a minute, Super Hercules here with one, but Montrosky goes down to Death Armor. The grenade comes flying in Nostalgia's head, just about survives the pre-fire from Zane in the meanwhile. This is a 4v4. C4 comes out, but will not find anyone. Deathamer, unfortunately, could not find the bandit. He did, tag him up quite a bit, but couldn't quite kill him. That was, of course, what was required in that moment. Zane, he's got so many things to work with. Look at this, a deployable shield, and just utility protecting the shield as the smoke grenade goes out. Zane, he's going to see this. He's going to push up aggressively. He's not going to be seen for it, though. Does he see the prone peak? No, but he sees the sledge in the meanwhile, takes him down. Super Hercules comes in as well, but Zane goes down to Nostalgia. It's now a 3v2, and the defenders are once again the ones in the lead. Nostalgia peeks wide. How does he get away with that? He's being shot from all angles, but he's protected. Super Hercules finds, rhymes with Bug. The plan's going off. Only 2 seconds on the clock. It has to. And Hercules will simply waltz in and finish off the final kill. Kid Esports will lose their first round on attack. Sunset Ninjas, I wouldn't say terribly wonky, but definitely wobbly at the very least, as they did lose a few key gunfights, but still managed to give themselves, the final much needed kills when they did, especially on entry. Kid Esports, unfortunately, lost too many gunfights and lost a lot of room to work with. Even with that construction wall being opened, they simply could not go through the way that they wanted to. And well, we see the results of that. Kid Esports 3-4 down, as we have a 6-pick coming in from Shaitan, going out of the Mozzie into the Pulse for the site that is Basement Church and Arsenal.
Well, you definitely need Pulse for information gathering via the cardiac sensors. Without it, Sunset Ninjas will be clueless to know whether, if Kira Esports, what Kira Esports' next plan is going to be. And although, yes, you have those, default cams from their respective places, but we all know that the attackers will just mainly focus on destroying those default cams and then slowly make their way towards the site. Although, we just have to remember that the Valkyrie has been taken care of, and when it comes to information gathering, the only information that you can get is via the bulletproof cams, the Maestro cams, and I believe that's the only information where you can gather. And also, I believe the Pulse's cardiac sensors, just like we saw, Shaitan going in for that 6-pick. This will give attackers a lot of breathing room to say that they don't have much information and they have to rely on one particular player, and that would be the Pulse, to relay live information, and the C4s to put it off in towards the kitchen and quite possibly get that early kill. That's what Sunset Ninjas is trying to aim, removing some players in the equation, but Zane takes out instead. The hands are rhymes with Buck. Oh boy, Zane was into his logistics hat. He decided that, look, I'm all by myself. I think it's best to go downstairs, maybe reposition myself back in such a way that we would be able to get the trade-off. But this is going to cost a lot. With Zane taken care of. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
It is.
Zane has been one of the main players for the side of Sunset Ninjas today. I think no one can deny that fact, because it just is. He has been extremely influential for them, and Kid Esports taking him down first is going to be a big move for them. As with that first one down, it's now going to come down to the final 4, Shaitan, Montrosky, Lefty, and Super Hercules. Hercules himself has been performing quite well. The last couple of rounds, he has been showing up. Over the course of this match, he has been showing up very well. Shaitan has been following as well in their footsteps. Montrosky and Lefty, not so much in terms of kills, but more so in terms of support. And there we go. Lefty's going to start things off. He needed one for himself too, and he's going to get that. That is a Turv off the board. Impact trick from Super Hercules has denied the Hibana breach in the meanwhile. That is brave as well, given where he's sitting. Some would even say brazen for sitting directly under a partially opened kitchen hatch, but he doesn't care. Super Hercules, no. That person right there does not care about the fact that that is half open, does not care about the fact that the Hibana could peek there and ruin his day any second now. No. And of course, he doesn't have to worry about that, because all of Kid Esports have shifted left. He's going to go down. Unfortunate, that is Nostalgia taking him off. That is your Legion gone. That's going to leave blue wide open. And it seems like Super Hercules wants to reposition, but he knows that there's going to be more here. Nostalgia comes in, but Super Hercules has found one. Can he find more? Grenade goes his way, but the prone peak from the sledge, that's going to be Deathhammer finding him. And now it is all up to Montrosky. Where is he? Well, there he is. And there he is no longer. That is going to be the final kill going the way of Rhymes with Buck. And Kid Esports, after a bit of a slow start in the round, admittedly, will manage to get themselves in a good position, attacking from blue and giving themselves the round win, equalizing 4-4 going into round 9.
Well, so close for Kira Esports, and so far for Sunset Ninjas to deny the push. Man, didn't expect to see Sunset Ninjas, especially Zane, who quite possibly just realized that he was all by himself from logistics. He didn't even had either one or maybe one or two of their players to try to provide some
Defenders,
good
protect your
protection
bombs
from
from
him.
being defused by attackers.
Since when he decided that it's best to go back from the main stairs, that's where Kira took care of that opportunity, taking him out from the main stairs itself. But unfortunate, as Sunset Ninjas will unfortunately lose on Basement Church and Arsenal Room, and they will decide to do it again. This time, hopefully, they won't make those mistakes. And also, we won't be able to see a mute Mozzie combo. I don't think so. But like, I don't see either a mute nor the castle
10
being brought
seconds to
out,
go.
because most of the time when you see a site on Basement Church and Arsenal Room, many of them
5
would
seconds
prefer trying to
remaining.
use the SSG strat being instead. I mean, either we would just see it as an SSG strat
Attackers'
or
objective
just
is
an
to locate a
extended
bomb
roam.
and defuse it.
Having mute a Mozzie and a castle to block most of the entryways and also lines of sight for the attackers, which will make them confusing. But also the main concern for some for the attackers is that if they don't get to the site as fast as possible, we might see Sunset Ninjas win that post-plan situation. So we won't be able to see that. And talking about the action phase where Kira Esports is slowly making their way, this time we won't be able to see any roam games coming in from Sunset Ninjas. They've made a decision to very much anchor the site. You even see Zane from the blue, even from the blue room with the ADSs being placed. So getting that control would be a difficult task for them.
That it would be. I'm seeing 4 players of Sunset Ninjas. Actually, now that we have that wide view of the operator shadows, thanks to Rhymes with Buck, seems like all players are inside. That's a turtle hold if I've ever seen one. As Sledge is back at it again at my house. Do apologize for the noise, folks. Didn't know this was going to happen today. But regardless, interestingly enough, Shaitan C4 is going to find Rhymes with Buck. That's going to be a huge one to start. That is the Jackal taken care of. And that is one that they needed gone early. Rhymes with Buck has been very good towards the end of any given round. And wait a minute, that's a very aggressive push. Potentially, no, from the hatch. Athurv is going to take down Zane. Once again, a player who needed to go down has been taken care of, which will force Lefty back and force him to reinforce off that rotate into blue.
For a moment there, I thought I saw
Bomb
a
located by
Banshee
attackers.
Deterrent flowing out. Yeah, look at that. Like, the Banshee Deterrent it's almost as if it's levitating all by itself.
Attackers have
An
located a
interesting one to
bomb.
look at. But for now, talking about Sunset Ninjas, knowing that they've lost one of the players and also they did get that huge refract taking out Rhymes with Buck, will make sure that they would leave the entire blue entry for the side of Kira Esports. Although still trying to figure out a way to take out the hatch and talk about Super Hercules using the impact nade, sees the head, and there you have it. Athurv goes down, and Super Hercules will take that opportunity. Still so worried about taking out the hatch. If they will succeed in removing it, some breach charges will come in to open up lines of sight. And also the impact nades will come in to try to eliminate it. But one slit of those Selma breach charges will succeed in opening up one of them. And here comes 2 kills from Deathhammer and Envy. Montrosky and Shaitan goes down, and so does Nostalgia in the hands of Super Hercules. Triple kill for him. Now he just needs to find the last player, that is Envy. 15 seconds left, and I believe Envy has no other way to just strike a drop down, and that flashbang will win one. Just to get traded out in the hands of Lefty. Good trade works coming in from Sunset Ninjas. And also a huge shout out for Super Hercules, who in fact defended the hold from Arsenal Room. If Super Hercules weren't there, then I would have just said that Kira Esports would have got themselves in the lead 4-5. But 5-4, we will see Sunset Ninjas be themselves in the lead, and they only need 2 more round wins to secure their map round on Clubhouse against Kira Esports. Will it happen, or will we see Kira make an amazing comeback? We're about to find out in round 10, second for CCTV.
I have to say, Hercules defending inside of Arsenal, yeah, that was a good showing from them, and of course from the rest of Sunset Ninjas. Overall, again, they
Defenders,
did
protect your bombs
lose
from
the
being defused
advantage
by
and the momentum just for a little bit there, but managed to bring it back when it was required. Of course, thanks to the efforts of Super Hercules, and then the final kill being taken as well. Very good stuff overall from Sunset Ninjas. Kid Esports, of course, looked a little strong. I will say in that round, they looked like they could take it, but Sunset Ninjas were prepared this time. And it didn't matter that Zayn had gone down because they still had Super Hercules, they still had Lefty and Shaitan to step up to the plate, and Montrosky bringing in the rear. Overall, it's been good for them. On the other side from Kid Esports, as we can see, Nostalgia, currently going 7-7. He hasn't done badly for himself in this game. Rhymes with Buck, he's been leading the charge overall, and with that Zofia pick, he wants to continue to lead the charge as well. As Deathamer, of course, hasn't really fired off today, I will say, compared to some other matches that we've seen from Kid Esports with Deathamer in the lineup, where he has been absolutely instrumental in giving his team a much needed, a much needed push forward. Today hasn't been much from him, but that can still change. As the third is going to go in for the Maverick trick. Nice and quickly going to get that done. Deathamer, the one we were talking about just now, gets into the gym bedroom area. Again, roam clear, wide clear, things that are required. From the looks of it, though, most defenders are inside of the site/garage. One of them is down below. That is going to be a big one. I think that's one of the C4 ops. Could be Super Hercules, could be Shaitan. Whoever that C4 op is going to be huge for both sides, depending on if he gets taken out or lives till the plant.
Well, it is huge though, because Super Hercules, the man who has a total of 14 kills in this round, I would say not in the round, in the match, he has a C4 in hand though. But talk about Shaitan, who actually dealt with some major damage to the Maverick right from the windows of blue. It's best to just fall back and wait for Kira Esports to make their move instead. Now talk about the construction push side being made from the attackers. Still dealing with some major issues. The first thing, which would be the mute jammers. The Salma breach charges will come in, place it in a secure spot where the grenades would come in to eliminate one of them. And Montrosky, knowing that there is one of the players right from below the stock, he needs to be the one who needs to be careful. Concussions will come in, which would force Montrosky to not go in for the peak. He will go for it nonetheless. The grenade will come in, but Montrosky will survive that blast. Just a minute left for Kira Esports to make their move, and Sunset Ninjas taking quite a lot of damage, but they haven't been eliminated. And here comes the first frags on Super Hercules. The MP5 takes out a third. Not looking too well. And talk about Montrosky. He is so stuck in that particular spot. He couldn't do much. But Zayn comes in to take one. Just to only get refragged in the hands of Rhymes with Buck. 3-3 equalizer. 35 seconds left. And the Ace, who's still trying to figure out a way to get in towards the cash room. And now the attackers have made their play. Nostalgia slowly making his push, but Zayn is still, checking out the cams, making sure that he'll be able to give some provide information. The push needs to come in, but Shaitan comes to get one. Only to get taken out in the hands of Envy. He takes out two of the players. And now it's a post plant. Super Hercules needs to get this clutch, whereas he has to go up against Envy. He has the information now. Talk about Hercules, the way how he's been making countless numbers of clutches and also some huge plays. C4s will be popped out. The information will come in, and Envy's prepping ready for the push. And Super Hercules, again, he's going to use it as a bait. Sees the head, but in the end, we will see Envy get the kill. Take out Super Hercules. We will see an equalizer, 5-5 in round 10. Although some amazing efforts being made from Shaitan, but in the end didn't expect to see Envy going for not only just the refrag, but also eliminate the player who was slowly making his way in towards the cash room, while the Ace was there planting the diffuser. Post plant did succeed, which led Envy just wait for the defender to make his move. It's more of like chess at this point, where most of the players are just just figuring out a way on how to force the defenders to make mistakes, and they are making those mistakes quite quite a lot at this point. Talk about round 11. It's anyone's game now at this point.
That it
Defenders,
is.
protect
And I
your
have to
bombs
say,
from
the
being defused
trade
by
game from
attackers.
both sides was very strong indeed. Kira Esports more so, some would say, because they not only got themselves into a position where it was equalized on the man count, but they kept it that way and managed to protect the planter despite the push from the Wamai coming in from Garage. That was something else. And even then, the plant just about went off. And the Wamai did get the kill on the planter, but then he got killed by Envy, who had to wait and play against Super Hercules. It was quite the battle between both sides, and admittedly, it could have gone either way.
5 seconds left.
But Sunset Ninjas, well, they unfortunately folded a little too soon. Again, had they had just one more person alive in that situation, maybe the Bandit could have actually survived, given the way he pushed out into the cash door. He could have probably survived that, potentially even gone in towards the planter to try and take him out, or waited for the Y to close the distance. But unfortunately, that simply did not happen, which left Sunset Ninjas a little bit too open to attack. And well, we saw the result of that. Oh, wait a minute, that's somebody's feet right there. Envy, he didn't have the line of sight or the information probably, as Athar's going to take a ton of damage from a C4 potentially. Envy's going to come in, the walls been made soft, going to get that breached nice and quickly and give themselves that early CCTV breach, which will allow them to do a lot more work. Interestingly enough, as you can see, the construction wall has been left unreinforced. There's a line of sight there. Looks like that's a Sunset Ninja's, adaptation, if you will, in trying to get these attackers out of key positions.
I mean, even with the armor panels being placed from blue and stock, you see Zane holding towards lounge. Now, this would have been effective, and knowing how Kira Esports is so keen on getting control on lounge. But for now, we will see Envy get the first kill, taking out Montrosky right from the same place, which is in fact on second floor cash room. And another kill comes in from Brian Buck to take out Shaitan. This time, Sunset Ninjas is not looking too good. Even with some slight adaptations being made with the castle's armor panel, Kira Esports still have a solution. And that solution is going to put Sunset Ninjas in a bit of a toll, because knowing that they've already, took care of both of the important players, which is Montrosky right from the cash room, a total of 3 smoke gas canisters won't be available for the defenders to at least, force the attackers to not push in towards cash room. But the amount of damage has been taken, and also Envy going on an aggressive peek against left, he will not work out, and so does Super Hercules on the side of Athar, making it a 2v4. The trade game is strong for Kira Esports, but not on the hands of Sunset Ninjas, because they're starting to falter off. Athar takes out Zane, and now Lefty will go right in the hands of Athar. And we will see Kira Esports be on match point 6-5. We will proceed to round 12. And the way how Sunset Ninjas, knowing on how Kira Esports make their most specific push. I mean, like, you would always see a Maverick on the side of Kira Esports, either using a nade to take out the mute jammers, nor using the bullets to destroy one of their important gadgets. So they decided, since Kira Esports love to get the control on lounge, how about we just block it by using the castle armor panels and make sure that they would not open up the construction wall as fast as they did. Although it kind of backfired on them, I might say. The amount of backfired that it just happened from the Ashes breaching charge, right from the vertical lines of sight, right in towards the stock room. Taking out Montrosky was huge, and not to even mention Zane had been taken care of right from the window side. This will put Sunset Ninjas in a bit of a toll, and we did get to see a pause timer being requested on the side of Sunset Ninjas, and yeah, we just have to talk about the admins and see whether if it would be accepted or not.
I mean, that is, of course, for the admins to take care of in the
10
back
seconds
end, and
remaining.
we'll update our viewers as soon as we can about that one. But overall, I have to
seconds
say, Kid Esports in the last round, good. They looked good. They've looked better than they've looked in this overall match. And that, of course, was something that they absolutely needed. And of course, it's only map 1. There are still 2 more maps to go, potentially speaking. If Kid Esports wins things out here, then of course it will be harder for the side of Sunset Ninjas going into map 2, where, of course, on Oregon, I believe it's Kira Esports. Is it Kira Esports attack first? I believe it is, but wait a minute, Envy. Hold on. He's already down main stairs. He looks like he wants to rush, and he will do exactly that. Well, at least get the first kill. Zane is off the board. And now he takes the Legion Mine to the chin that he didn't take on the way down. Very interesting. But regardless, a good kill. A needed kill right there. Once again, Zane is off the board, who has been, well, was being the early fragger for the side of Sunset Ninjas. Now is not. And it seems like Sunset Ninjas are slowly wearing themselves out, given the kind of plays that have been required from them to stay ahead. As it goes, if there was ever a time for Kid Esports to take the lead in this map, it is now. And they have taken that lead. They've given themselves all the leeway that they can. And look at that. Deathmer using all of the angles that they know of to try and shut down these defenders' power positions. So far, they've gotten Zane, but they need to get at least one more, preferably 2, before they execute onto the side itself.
The pings from the Jackal tracks is just putting them off on the edge. And here it is, the push from Kira Esports, Envy and Nostalgia already in the site. And Montrosky won't be able to do anything in towards the tunnels. Looks like we will see Kira Esports win their first map against Sunset Ninjas 7-5. And looks like my predictions did end up being right. 7-5. Amazing performance from Sunset Ninjas in their first half on attack, where they did make a good performance from them, 3-3. And talk about Super Hercules having a total of 16 kills in his hand. Envy and Rhymes with Buck having a total of 13 kills on their end. And there you have it. Map 1, 7-5 in favor of Kira Esports. They'll be able to win their first map, but we still have 2 more maps to go, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. We have our second map, and that is Oregon. Without Oregon, I mean, it's particularly a way, it's there's nothing much more to talk about Oregon at this point, because we all know what exactly is going to happen, where most of the time it's either defender favored, or sometimes the attackers will somehow try to rectify our mistakes and be like, no Baba, it's not defender favored, it is attacker favored, let me show you. I mean, that's
Yeah,
basically
well,
what
whether or not we actually see that, of course, remains to be seen, if you will. And we're going to get to that in a bit, folks. But of course, we've just finished off this first map, if you will. Just again, that little thing that happened in the middle that Baba and I talked about. We'll just have to get with the admins, make sure everything's all right there before we really declare it done. But I feel like I feel like it was done, yeah. But regardless, we're going to be going into the highlights, folks, here in this first map, I should say. As you can tell, I'm a little disoriented, worrying about that little bit. I'm going to have to talk to the admins to be clear about that myself. But regardless, man, what a match. What a first map it was. And just overall, a very good game between both sides. Sunset Ninjas were very strong starting off, and they looked like they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were up to, and they knew what they needed to be done they knew what they needed to do. That's the same point that I've been stressing on for the most part today. And Kira Esports, of course, they really started coming back from things around, I would say, round number 5 on the first half, because again, this clutch from Nostalgia, had that not happened, had just a tiny change from Sunset Ninjas' hold been in effect, then he wouldn't have been able to make that clutch, and well, things would have turned out very differently. Well played to Nostalgia, don't get me wrong, But that was a situation that could have been very easily rectified by Sunset Ninjas. As Kid Esports, of course, after that managed to take a couple of defensive rounds. Round 5 was quite good from them on Gym Bedroom, albeit a little shaky, a little scary at times, but still they managed to give themselves a round. And then round 6, once again, they were down in a 2 versus 4 situation, and they still got themselves the play that they needed to. Maestro Smoke combo. That is some good plant denial potential right there. Sunset Ninjas weren't quite done though. They still started trying to make a comeback, and they still managed to take an attacking round, a couple of attacking rounds for that matter, given that it's 7-5. But yeah, Kid Esports, like I said, if there was ever a time to take the lead, it was then at that 5-5 juncture. And not only did they take the lead, they took the fight straight to the side of Sunset Ninjas. Beautifully played overall from both teams. And, well, with Kid Esports now 1-0 up on the map count, Sunset Ninjas have their work cut out for them. They did lose the game in terms of the score, but here's hoping that their mental game is still strong, because they will need it to be if they want to win this match and if they want to get to the semifinals.
Well, semifinals is what these two teams will be mainly focusing on, and Kira Esports is one map away to secure the spot and see who will they go up against. Who knows, maybe we might see Monkey Hunters, or maybe we might see Mercenaries, knowing that the second match of the quarterfinals is Sage Empire versus MRCZ. It's quite it's quite clear that MRCZ would win against Sage Empire. It's just prediction at this point, but who knows if Sage Empire did their homework right and realize that, hey, since we've done these calculations right, why not give it a try against MRCZ? And if that works, and if we see Sage Empire defeat against Mercenaries, we might see go up against Kira Esports, or not, we might see Kira go up against MRCZ instead in the first half. But still, we don't have that confirmation just yet. We still have to worry about the second map, which will be on Oregon, Kira Esports versus Sunset Ninjas. But for now, we're going to take a teeny tiny short break, and we'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
The partnership with AMD has been great. In Far Cry 6, the team has built the most ambitious open world in franchise history, filled with lush tropical environments and decaying urban landscapes. To push the visual fidelity of our game and immersive gaming experience, we've been collaborating with AMD to implement next-gen rendering techniques like DirectX ray tracing and AMD Fidelity Effects features. When implementing these next-gen features, we were challenged because we want the majority of players to have an enjoyable, smooth experience without having to turn their settings down. Using upscaling technology like AMD Fidelity Effects Super Resolution helps us address this problem because it means more players can enjoy Far Cry 6 with their graphic settings cranked up and without compromising frame rate. FSR is a cutting-edge spatial upscaling solution. It's easy to integrate into our development pipeline, and it delivers substantial performance boost while retaining excellent image quality on the highest quality setting. Additionally, we believe AMD's GPU Open and the support for open standards and platforms drive innovation forward. We can't wait until October 7th when players will finally get the chance to see all the hard work we've put into Far Cry 6. It's very exciting that we're getting closer to showcasing to players the game, powered by the latest AMD technologies. The partnership with AMD has been great. In Far Cry 6, the team has built the most ambitious open world in franchise history, filled with lush tropical environments and decaying urban landscapes. To push the visual fidelity of our game and immersive gaming experience, we've been collaborating with AMD to implement next-gen rendering techniques like DirectX ray tracing and AMD Fidelity Effects features. When implementing these next-gen features, we were challenged because we want the majority of players to have an enjoyable, smooth experience without having to turn their settings down. Using upscaling technology like AMD Fidelity Effects Super Resolution helps us address this problem because it means more players can enjoy Far Cry 6 with their graphic settings cranked up and without compromising frame rate. FSR is a cutting-edge spatial upscaling solution. It's easy to integrate into our development pipeline, and it delivers substantial performance boost while retaining excellent image quality on the highest quality setting. Additionally, we believe AMD's GPU Open and the support for open standards and platforms drive innovation forward. We can't wait until October 7th when players will finally get the chance to see all the hard work we've put into Far Cry 6. It's very exciting that we're getting closer to showcasing to players the game, powered by the latest AMD technologies.
Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the AMD The Esports Club Challenger Series 1. Well, not qualifiers anymore, quarterfinals. That is correct, folks. The finals week here for this tournament, the Challenger Series 1. I messed up my intro, something fierce right there. Sorry about that one. But of course, we are here for this beautiful tournament of Rainbow Six Siege. I'm your host, Blackjack. Joining me is my co-host, Baba Gusta, for the first quarterfinals of this tournament. Sons and Ninjas versus Kid Esports. We just had the first map, of course, and that map was Clubhouse 7-5 in favor of Kira after they finally took the lead in the 10th round. A little, less than stellar performance initially. Sunset Ninjas were doing very well, I must say. But unfortunately, Sunset Ninjas could not keep up that same pace, and once they fell apart, well, it was Kira's game to win, and win they did. But of course, that's just been one map. We still have the second map to go. And as we saw in the map bans before the first map began, it is Oregon, which is also Kira Esports' pick. They've won Sunset Ninja's pick, and now they are looking to win their own map pick. Of course, this is now home turf, effectively speaking. Kira Esports are on the attack here, mind you. Sunset Ninjas are on the defense. So Sunset Ninjas, they have that defender-sided advantage that we all love to see on Oregon. Kid Esports, on the other hand, will have their work cut out for them, but given their performance in the previous game, feel like they might just be able to. Just like, Baba, you were talking about the Mercenaries versus Sage Empire game, right? How Sage Empire is a good team, but against Mercenaries, it's really going to be tough for them to win, but there's still a chance. Similarly, it's going to be tough for Sunset Ninjas on this map, but from Clubhouse alone, there's a good chance they take this one. And I'm not saying that they will, but that there's a chance. And as we all know, all you need is a chance, and emphasizing on that chance. Wouldn't you agree, Baba?
Absolutely, Jack. Talking about chance, I'd say that Sunset Ninjas still have just one, I'd say, and that map is on Oregon against Kira Esports. And if Sunset Ninjas win against Kira on their home turf, and talking about the map picks being made, there is high likely a chance where in the first match, even if Sunset Ninjas pick the map on Clubhouse, Kira Esports might have won. And in the second match, there is high likely a chance where that can happen too, where Sunset Ninjas might be able to, win against Kira Esports on map Oregon, and then they would at least try to go head to head in the decider map, which will be on map Villa. And talking about Oregon, I'd say that Sunset Ninjas might have a firm grip, but the same thing can be said to Kira Esports though, because the way how the way how good they are in both coordinating as well as on defensive maneuverability, I'd say that Kira Esports can win, but still Sunset Ninjas, right from the previous performance that they did in first and second half, the attack coordinations were really well done. Like in the first half, in the first half, there wasn't any problems in their attacks. The main concern that I have for Sunset Ninjas would be on defense, and the way how you saw Montrosky always in the CCTV, I wouldn't say from CCTV, I'd say from the cache, right, Jack? That's most of the time where you saw Montrosky playing as the smoke with the shotgun and SMG 11.
That is
Kira
correct.
Esports knew exactly where their positionings are, and even with Montrosky, he had so many decisions. He could have gone in for a quick rotate. Maybe he could have changed his positioning in a way where Kira Esports might have had a little bit of difficulties in removing this one specific player, but they could not. You don't see any roamers who tried to go in for a flank right from the main stairs. There weren't any roam presence being detected from Sunset Ninjas. It was just a fully well dedicated hold which is being made, and also some major changes being made from the castle. Just like how Montrosky was mainly worried about the lounge as well as the stock, where most of the vertical lines started being made, where either Death Amar or Envy get those early kills taking out Montrosky, or he would just get picked out from a frag grenade being thrown out from Death Amar himself with the sledge. So they really have to be careful, especially on their defensive phase. Maybe try to bring in one or two roamers which can might possibly help in shifting the balance between Sunset Ninja's defensive plays. But other than that, I'd say the attack is very well made. I mean, Super Hercules, and also, Super Hercules, I believe, was the one who made those amazing plays. 3 kills, 4 kills. He almost, made that clutch happen as well. But, we all know what exactly happened in the end. Kira Esports did manage to, succeed in winning the map 7-5. And now, with the map being on Oregon, Kira Esports will be the one in attack. And the main question that I have to ask for Sunset Ninjas is, since they're on defense, which site will they pick first? Will they pick basement, or will they pick second floor kids' dorms? And that question that I have to ask for you, Jack.
That is a good question indeed. And I guess we'll find out in just a bit. We're just getting the ready confirmation from both teams. Folks, Kira Esports and Sunset Ninjas are starting off, or will be starting off in just a quick second. Actually, no quick seconds, or I guess it was a quick second between that and this. But regardless, the match itself has begun, folks. So let us not take any more of you guys' time. Let us get right in to the map of Oregon. I was about to say Clubhouse again. I'm used to calling that. Oregon is going live on your screens right now with the ban phase going off from Sunset Ninjas to start us off with a Flores ban. That is to be expected these days, as many will say. Flores, as has been demonstrated time and time again, especially if our viewers remember from the Mexico majors, Flores was extremely useful whenever he was allowed in play. He had a fairly high ban rate, and over here at the Challenger Series, he has had a high ban rate as well, alongside, of course, the ever-banned Thatcher, as Thatcher's just not allowed to play. I guess it's just the team's taking care of the old timer. He's been around for a long time. He says it himself in the TNs, in fact. But regardless, Thatcher's going to be banned from the side of Kira Esports, who have the first defender ban of the map as well, and it is going to be Wamai. Another ban that we have come to expect, especially when it comes to maps like Oregon, maps like Villa. Wamai sees a bit more ban than he used to before. That's primarily because despite the nerf to the Jaeger-Wamai synergy earlier this year, it is still good. And especially having those two allows for defenders to deny utility in many places that they otherwise would not be able to. And of course, that is very detrimental to the attackers, so Kira Esports will ban Wamai, and Clash will be the final ban from the side of Sunset Ninjas. No surprises right there. Clash, quite annoying with that electric shield of hers, and of course, just in general, a full body shield on defense that can turtle up, turn around, effectively 360 headshotting you, which, well, we've seen how, while amazing to see, probably isn't the best thing to have or to be on the receiving end for if you're an attacker. But regardless, round one will be underway. Rosters, of course, have been introduced, as the 6 picks are going to come off. One from Envy, one from Super Hercules. Envy brings in the Zofia, seems like, in place of, no, the Ash in place of the Kali. And on the other hand, Super Hercules out of the Valkyrie into the Kaid as round
Defenders,
1
protect your bombs
is now
from
underway
being
on
used by
second
attackers.
floor, kids' dorms and dorms main hall.
Well, for Sunset Ninjas, this is their final chance to get back. The same thing can be said to Kira Esports, where they have to get one more map win to get the spot in the semi-finals. A lot of pressures coming around from Sunset Ninjas. With some, excellent performance being made in the first map, Clubhouse. They have to do the same in Oregon. Hopefully this time they should be, very confident when it comes to winning most of the defensive plays.
10 seconds left before
And
insertion.
Montrosky bringing in the mute this time. Having those jammers is very important, and not to mention the C4s, which would help eliminate the attackers, especially when they're going in for a plant in the games room. Talk about the action phase. We will see Kira Esports definitely not wasting any time. They'll spawn in from their respective spawns. One from street, one from the construction site. They will slowly make their way. And talk about the utilities that the attackers have around, and the damage is being dealt around from Envy already. Lefty almost had the chance to take out Envy right from below the windows of Garage. That is going to put the attackers in a bit of a problem. Lefty already will be the one to proceed aggression, and that aggression will cost him his bone. Lefty with the first kill takes out Envy, puts in a 4v5, the early kill in the favor of Sunset Ninjas.
A big early kill at that too, as maybe a second one, maybe Deatharmer is going to find Lefty, but that's just a down, no confirmation just yet, as Rhymes with Buck comes in with a grenade. No, that's going to be Deatharmer as well. Lefty being down in armory means he might not get revived. No, he won't be, as that kill will be confirmed. It's now a 4v4. Equalized man count as the shield inside of Trophy needs to be taken care of, but it's not extremely high priority just yet. There we go. Deatharmer's going to swoop in, take care of that, and move on to taking care of somebody towards Attic. No, not quite yet. Nostalgia takes a bit of damage. Deatharmer takes a bit of damage from the pre-fires coming from Sunset Ninjas from inside of sight. They are looking at a potential couple of kills or maybe a couple of operator losses. That might not be too good. C4 goes out, but Nostalgia manages to shoot it out from the looks of it, and that will allow the breaches to go through. Gemini replicators coming in from a third is going to give them all the intel in the world that they need. And that, of course, is what they need. But no, Super Hercules is going to stay there and get kills regardless. Nostalgia of the board. And now it's going to make it a 4v3. Wait, Hercules, he's pushing up. He sees one, but no, he pre-fired on the wrong operator. Should have pushed out on the sledge, and Deatharmer will take full advantage of that momentary loss of concentration, taking that trade. Kaid down, 3v3.
Deatharmer still alive and kicking. Just needs to worry about planting the defuse to force the defenders
Attackers recover the
in a post-plant situation. And talk about Athar, who's slowly making his way from the white stairs, and Shaitan still making sure that the push won't happen. Again, an aggressive push. Shaitan misses the opportunity, whips out, and also not a good idea to be reloading at that time like this. As Ryan Buck comes in to take out Shaitan. A 3v2. The attackers only have 20 seconds left. They have to go in for the push. They have to go in for the plant. They have to worry about the C4s in which Montrosky is prepped ready for it. And he should not, because Rhymes Buck is already in. Sane goes out, and so does Montrosky from Atharv. Slowly making his way from the white stairs. And we will see Kira Esports win their first round on second floor kids dorms and dorms main hall. Quite an unfortunate play though for Super Hercules. I mean, if he was very close on taking out that sledge, who in fact was currently droning to figure out the information towards the site, but if Super Hercules, just went in for a bit of a sweep, I'd say that he could have eliminated Deatharmer. Not to mention the early kill was still in the favor of Sunset Ninjas, and yet they couldn't figure out a way to eliminate Rhymes with Buck and Nostalgia. And talk about Nostalgia, who was very quick in taking out that C4 with that hole being made. Talk about good reflexes. And talk about Sunset Ninjas, I'd say that, Super Hercules did make some amazing plays as well, who was mainly worried about the, breached wall. Getting that kill was very efficient and also, very important. But still, Sunset Ninjas, they're in a bit of a pickle and they have to pick it up.
that they, I mean, then again, it is only the first round, and they still started off, I wouldn't say pretty strong, but they were sort of toe-to-toe with Kid Esports, so there's still a chance for Sunset Ninjas. I will say that they have not lost this already. I mean, it's very early to call Oregon. But regardless, it is going to be tough for them, and that is what they need to watch out for. Kid Esports did well to take a hold of the round once again, especially with Super Hercules. I mean, he had a chance to go for the sledge. I think he didn't see, well, he couldn't have seen the sledge, of course, but had he pushed out just a little bit and not taken the shot at the, I believe it was what, the Ace or the Maverick running on the Armory corridor, then he would have gotten that kill, and, well, that would have been huge for the side of Sunset Ninjas, but that was not to be. Right now, of course, focusing onto this round, once again, Armory is going to be a huge battlefield. Should, of course, the Aruni still stay there. Lefty's about to come under fire, but the frag will miss, and the shot will be fired. Lefty, beautifully done to find a third, dodging grenades left and right as Lefty starts things off quite strong indeed. Drone, oh dear, that was a bit of a missed throw. Went down into Armory instead of going above like it was supposed to. Another grenade is being prepared, but Lefty takes a bit of damage. He's still safe. Rhymes with Buck doesn't know where to throw the grenade. He's trying to figure out a spot as Envy has now come on the rappel of Armory. He's going to see where the Aruni is. I don't think he knows just yet. The Aruni is going to be peeking any second now, but no, not quite. Sees the rope, and Envy's trying to bait out a peek right now. Doesn't get the shot, though, and the Aruni is going to drop down instead. Lefty, wait a minute. Can he get the Maverick? No, he goes out instead, finds Envy, and gets found by Rhymes with Buck, but Rhymes with Buck, oh dear. That's not too good. He still did manage to get the kill. I think he is stable once again. Had a little moment of insecurity right there, but he is still alive, folks, and that will mean it's a 3-4.
Well, tensions starts to brew around for Kira Esports with Lefty taking out both of the important players, Atharv and Envy. He's gonna put the attack phase on a very bad place. Oh boy, Death Armor. The grenade wasn't meant to bounce back. Mainly focusing on taking out the addict players, but instead it just didn't work out. Another nade will come in this time, making sure that it would go through, and will it get the frag? Momentarily, Montrosky did, get some minor damage from the grenade's AoE blast. Push needs to happen, and Kira Esports is definitely not looking too good, knowing that two of the players have been gone. And now they are mainly worried about getting the addict control. Getting the addict control means that they have the chances of going for the burst, but here comes Super Hercules to take out Nostalgia. Only then to get taken out in the hands of Rhymes with Buck, where Montrosky is gone. But the only thing that he can do is just give information as of now. 2v3, where Kira Esports is currently hunkered down from the attic room. And here you have it. Death Hammer goes very aggressive to take out one. Shaitan will lose that gunfight nonetheless. Another kill comes in with the Death Armor. SMG-11 proves wonders for him. Let's go in for the recovery, and Super Hercules needs to be careful. So close. So close for Death Armor to get the clutch. But unfortunately, we will see Super Hercules win it out and save their team as well. Round 2 goes for Sunset Ninjas, as we will see an equalizer 1-1 as we proceed to round 3.
Now that was quite the round indeed from Sunset Ninjas. Once again, only barely escaping a collapse. And that too because Super Hercules this time did not miss his mark. That push on the ace was so well timed. The ace was ready to just sacrifice his Selma Breach to the Aruni Gate, right? But of course, just the timing that he throws the Selma Breach, Kaid comes in and the Selma is deactivated because it's a defender approaching. And then I'm fairly certain that the ace was just quite surprised. Nostalgia, I believe, was playing ace in that situation, was quite surprised that, wait a minute, it went through, and he had to switch back to his gun as soon as possible. But of course, Kaid caught him before he could get the animation through, and Super Hercules, that was a good play. That was the diffuser drop as well. That was such an influential kill for the round. Man, that was a good play. Sure, it needed a little bit of help from the good old siege timing, as we've come to know it as. But, Sunset Ninjas, they'll take what they can get. Kira Esports would have taken the same had they gotten an opportunity for it if they were on the defense. If the shoe were on the other foot, as they say. they would have probably been happy with that chance as well. So overall, Sunset Ninjas, good round, but they will need to win their gunfights more often, because if they don't, things will be very rough for them going forward. The set, of course, now is Basement Laundry and Supply Room, and things are set to change in terms of defender, like how the defenders are going to hold, who's going to be up on the roam, if there are any. And I feel like there might be a couple of lurkers close to the site. There are some footprints that the third can track, and he's going to do exactly that. That's Kaid, but he is all the way towards the laundry side of things, so it's not going to be easy to find him, as he's just following his tracks, following his marks. Wait a minute, is that somebody reinforcing? It is Shaitan. This late into the round is going to get found. Unfortunate, as Lefty comes in, tries to get a little bit of a take, but no, a Turv is going to pop the head. That's going to make it a 3v5.
2 for 1 for a Turv, as he will decide to come back and hold an angle from Basement Laundry. This time information will come in, and that is the smoke. Montrosky, the smoke gas canisters will come in to prevent the push from the attack. The entire freezer control is in the hands of Sunset Ninjas, and Kira Esports played it beautifully. I want to mention the Turv, who's got 2 kills from that freezer, is going to put a huge dent. Sunset Ninjas defense move. Talking about a minute and 30 seconds left. Kira Esports pressuring a lot. Defenders just pre-firing their way. Hopefully they could get at least a kill or 2. It's not going to work out well. Super Hercules is thinking otherwise. He has a C4, but that grenade, oh, so close. Oh boy. That nade did claim the life of Super Hercules. Then I would have said that Kira Esports had a huge man-count advantage. But still, they will survive nonetheless. But for how long is the biggest question, knowing that Kira Esports, Rhymesbuck taking quite a lot of damage, but triple kill comes in from a Third to take out 1, smoke gas canisters, and another kill for Montrosky to take out a Third, but 3v2, and now the push will happen from Kira Esports, knowing that they don't have to worry about the stairs, and Super Hercules perfectly lined up to take out Envy and Nostalgia, and with a Death Hammer is yet again in a 1v1. This time Montrosky is prepped and ready. The only difference is that the attackers has a lot of time. Death Hammer might be able to find it. Montrosky going in for the pre-fire, but that's going to No, Montrosky doesn't know that. Okay, finally he knows that. No, it's too late. So late for Montrosky to realize that Amar was slowly making his way in towards the freezer site. Even though he had the information, it was too late. We will see Kira Esports win it out on round 3, Basement Laundry and Supply Room. Such a close call there, and also Super Hercules perfectly lined up to get those 2 kills. He only had to worry about the freezer push. But unfortunate for Montrosky, he didn't had any information on exactly where Sledge would go in for that push. He even made a few warning shots. He even took out the ADSs right in front of him. And yet Montrosky, didn't get to know where exactly his location was. But unfortunately, when he got to realize, it was too late. And that Amar will make sure to give that good lead to Kira Esports. 2-1 will be the scoreline as we proceed to round 4. A very messy round, Jack.
Indeed, quite a messy round. As overall, I think Kira Esports holding on to that lead was very, very well done from them. But Montrosky and Super Hercules started bringing it back, equalizing, then trading. And that lineup on the laundry entrance was, oh boy, that could have gone so far south so quickly for the side of Kira Esports. Thankfully for them, of course, the Sledge came in, managed to bring themselves back from the brink, Death Hammer. And even then, some would have said that had Montrosky stayed on the hallway door of Supply Room, he would have gotten that kill, because the shotgun, of course, the range that he ended up taking the fight on, it's not as consistently effective as we would like it to be, but at the range from the door, from the hallway door to the freezer door, that is a range where the shotgun can work wonders. Unfortunately, for Sunset Ninjas, Montrosky simply was not close enough. He had assumed that Death Hammer would come in through the rotate, and, well, that never happened, as we are going to be moving on to now the 4th round. Kira Esports just about getting their 2nd round in. But Super Hercules has something to say about that. Envy is going to go down. That's a big one early, as the Ash is off the board. Both teams have been playing pretty good so far, and they will need to continue to add. A third is taking damage, interestingly enough. That's from a goo mine and from the Maestro's Electroclaw. Wow, all right then. But yeah, man, both teams have been playing very, very well so far.
Very well so far, and a good frag there from Super Hercules, an unnecessary one with Envy gone and out. They just have to worry about the breaches happening in towards Freezer. Interesting enough, no push has been happening from the blue bunker, and not even a angle being made from the stairs in towards Boiler. And it might be a bit difficult for Kira Esports to go in for the push, and Sunset Ninjas already prepped and prepared with those angles. If Kira Esports lose one more player, then I believe Sunset Ninjas have got this in the bag. A lot of smoke grenades will come in from a third, as a slow push will come in, but not on the hands of Lefty. Oh boy, that smoke gas, the smokes did not work out well for the Jackal. Now, a lot of tension starts to brew around from Death Armor, knowing that the Peter and Rooney is still alive and kicking. Not to mention, not a single player on the side of Sunset Ninjas is downed. The aggressive push will come in. A beautiful push there from Lefty to take out Death Armor to 2v5.
One more.
Just have to worry about one more. Super Hercules, a beautiful frag to take out Rhymes with Buck. And with it, we will see Nostalgia all by himself from the basement laundry stairs. And he needs to figure out a way to get in towards the building. With a total of 40 seconds left, he doesn't have any other idea. And the only push that he can go through is towards Freezer, the place where the defenders have very well fortified the place. And also a beautiful peek from Super Hercules. Take out the final player on the side of Kira Esports. And we will see Sunset Ninjas equalize it 2-2 as we proceed to round 5. An amazing hold though for Sunset Ninjas, and also not to mention a good early kill from Super Hercules. When Super Hercules get that first early kill, he decided to just immediately fall back from Freezer and waited for Kira Esports to make their move. Unfortunate that the smoke gas canisters didn't block the line of sight exactly what he thought he might think of, but that's going to put Sunset Ninjas in a very good lead here. I wouldn't say a lead, I would say an equalizer, 2-2. And talking about round 5, second floor case doms will be the site, and a third going for that huge 6-pick, switching from
Defenders,
the Blitz to the Maverick. I believe he did that because he wanted to force one of the players on the side of Sunset Ninjas to bring in the Warden, and that's why you saw Shaitan switching from that 6-pick up. This might hinder a bit, but if this works, then I'd say Kira Esports have got this in the bag.
I mean, again, it's gonna come down to the late round gunfights. I mean, so far, both of these teams have been playing very well in the mid round. Okay, very well might not be the best term to describe it, but let's be real here. In the context of the first map of this map so far, the overall presentation of Rainbow Six from both of these teams has been enjoyable, has been good, and has been pretty solid overall. Some mistakes have been made, don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, this is the quarterfinals. There are mistakes that can still be made, and we're all human, right? Mistakes will be made, as they say, to err is human. But regardless of that, considering everything, oh, wait a minute, Envy. I think I'm gonna have to hold that thought for just a moment. Nope, okay, never mind. Lefty got taken down, and the way Envy was pushing up really looked like he really wanted to rush into the side, but the barbed wire slowed him down, and he realized, okay, we're just gonna see a Warden get shot in the face right in front of... Oh boy, that was something else. They had him droned as well. That is good stuff from Kira Esports. Looks like they're really starting to bring everything that they can, but shots will still be fired. Envy will take a bit of damage, not a whole lot. But given that it's a 3v5, make that a 3v4 because Zane is here. He's going to find one, but you got to be careful of the big window, my guy. He's going to get taken down by Rhymes with Buck, an instant trade, and a much-needed one. It's a 2v4.
2v4, not looking too good for Sunset Ninjas. Talk about Envy making his first push, and Montrosky still barely holding on, and it's not enough. As a third comes in to get the confirmation to take out Montrosky, and with it we will see Super Hercules in a 1v3. This is high likely a chance where this clutch can happen. We've seen Super Hercules make some amazing plays on map Clubhouse. Can he do the same? Oh boy, I really don't think so, because Athar will come in with that final kill, giving Kira Esports their win on round 5. 3-2 will be the scoreline, and with it we will proceed to round 6. Talk about Envy though. I didn't expect it to see that. I mean, Envy just pushed in from the white stairs. He saw that vertical line of sight. He know that Aruni was there. He eliminated not just one, but also like an immediate control of the site. Like they started pressuring, using that vertical lines of sight. Zofia had the concussion. I wouldn't say the concussion. I'd say the impact needs. But yeah, talk about it. We have to go in for the pause as one of the players on the side of Sunset Ninjas has been disconnected, and we just have to wait for him to come back. Talking about the site though, on round 6, second floor kids dorms and dorms main hall will be the site. Things will not go smooth because Sunset Ninjas really needs to figure out a way to eliminate players on the side of Kira Esports, and that main player would be none other than Invi, because most of the time he's either invincible or invisible for Sunset Ninjas, and they have no idea on how to counter.
Well played with the wordplay right there. But yeah, Envy has been quite influential with the early picks and overall with the way he's conducted himself in this match. And I feel like Kira Sports bouncing off of Envy might be a common theme we see on Oregon. Again, there is a chance that Kira Sports actually goes away 2-0 on the map count today, just done, dusted. Let's move on to the semifinals. Similarly to how we were talking about that Mercenary Sage Empire semifinal, a quarterfinal that is tomorrow. But we can talk about tomorrow when we actually get there. Right now, this match on Oregon so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing, but I feel like Sunset Ninjas has slowed down slightly, and they are not quite performing up to that same level that we saw them perform up to in Clubhouse. And that of course, is on par with the territory we're in. Best of threes, of course, are known to be slightly taxing, especially for teams that might not have played as many BO3s as their opponents have before. We all know Kira Sports over the last year have played tons of best of threes, from the SA Nationals to the APAC playoffs. They've been around the bend. The Sunset Ninjas, on the other hand, well, not as much. Although, of course, their players have experienced long form matches before, but it still isn't, shall we say, as much as Kira Esports, I think. But yeah, just all in all, it's not looking good for Sunset Ninjas. And I don't say that just because they are trying, and there is, it is very, very visible that they are giving it a lot of effort right now. But again, they've already played a very exhaustive first map, and this second map looks like it's going to run for a while as well. And the longer it runs for them, the more Sunset Ninjas will be feeling that fatigue, feeling, the tiredness, and the more Kira Esports can simply bank on their experience to get them through the match. So for Sunset Ninjas, it is going to be very important. This 6th round that we will come back to, that is going to be very important for them, because they will need to win it, and they will need to take rounds on the attack. If they go to attack on Oregon 2-4 down, and with their momentum already slowing down as is, it will be very unlikely for them to win out this match.
High unlikely, although for Sunset Ninjas, I do have to say that Super Hercules is making a very important plays for the defenders. I mean, you already saw the kite make that collateral damage right
Oh, yeah.
from the basement laundry stairs. Not to mention on map Clubhouse, where we saw Super Hercules get triple kill right into towards the Arsenal room, denying the plant as well as the push. We did get to see quite a lot of trades being made from Sunset Ninjas in the first map, but I do have to say that I don't see a lot of trades coming in the second halves at this point. Although I'd say that on the site on basement laundry and supply room, the way how Sunset Ninjas plays, especially with the Aruni, not only just getting one killed, eliminating off the jacket, but also taking out the sledge was a huge advantage, especially in towards the freezer. And Montrosky, he did all he could. I mean, using the mute jammers, his utility has been placed in such a way that he is, supporting his team at the very best, but it is not enough, because the way how Kira Esports is, going through their attack phases, there is one particular rounds where they go according to the books, one particular round where they might go ham, and one particular round where they just, try to fully understand how Sunset Ninjas play, and then go according to it by try to understand in the early rounds, and then try to execute, or maybe try to realize in mid or late rounds. Most of the time that didn't work out well for Kira Esports, because the more they tried to learn, the more aggressive Sunset Ninjas tried to take use of that advantage and get most of those kills. That actually did happen in in most of the 2 rounds on second floor kids Toms and basement laundry in round 2 and 4. The rest of them is just Kira Esports most of the time going according to the books. They just sometimes they would just go for a fully fledged push on freezer, sometimes they just go in for a split push. I don't see them push in towards the construction side where you go for the blue bunker entrance. We don't see that happen from Kira Esports. Main focus is either from the freezer or from the basement laundry stairs, which would give Sunset Ninjas a bit of a thought, realizing that look, Kira Esports, they're just trying to catch us off guard, knowing that most of the defensive most of the defensive utilities that they've placed is from the blue bunker hold and in towards boiler, and now they're ignoring it,
They can.
and they're mainly focusing on brute forcing their way in towards freezer and basement laundry stairs. Although it did work out once, the way how Jackal just I believe Jackal was a third at that point, getting those 2 kills, and then which led to an unfortunate 1v1 where the sledge won that gunfight against Montrosky. If he could have had that information, knowing that the sledge was at freezer, Montrosky would have won it out, and maybe we would have seen Sunset Ninjas be in the lead 3-2. But for now,
10 seconds
the pause
left
time
before
has
insertion.
finally come to an end, and with the player on the side of Sunset Ninjas, I believe that was Shaitan,
5
who
seconds
was
to go.
unfortunately being disconnected. He's been reconnected back, and we will not waste
Attackers
any
must
time and
locate
proceed to
defuse
round
the
6.
bomb.
Round 6 underway for both these teams, as of course we are back, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to be resuming this match in full swing. Envy, once again, look at him, he is speed right now, or well, sort of, as he isn't zooming his way into the site just yet, but he will be soon enough. He's got quite a lot of work ahead of him, making breaches, making sure that his team gets all of the necessary rotations and advantages, and he's already gone in for a gunfight maybe, but no, he's gonna get taken down. Super Hercules was probably very ready for it. That's Envy gone without an early pick. That is a little unfortunate for the side of Kira Esports, but Envy's been doing this for a while and it has been working. So, the fact that they let him off the leash for another round was supposed to happen. Sunset Ninjas, well, it seems like this time they were ready for it. Super Hercules, in the meanwhile, right next to those Selma breaches, did eventually run off as he needed to. Flashbangs coming in, but ADSs are still there. C4 comes out, but that is stuck on that top wall. Grenade goes in. Will it find him? Deathhammer finds him instead, and a third finds another, but Lefty comes in. He's going to find one. That's a third. That's a trade from the defense, but Rhymes with Buck is here to find Montrosky. Another one down. It's all up to Zane, and it is only all up to Zane. Why is he reinforcing? Excuse me. What? You're in a 1v3. Why are you reinforcing? He wanted to block off the rotate. I can understand that, but that is arguably the worst time to go for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I guess
wow.
I'd say it was at the heat of the moment.
Probably pressed the wrong button. Probably wanted to, I don't know, throw out his nitrocell or something. If he
No,
if he still had one, I'm not sure.
No,
But,
I believe his main focus is that he wanted to hold himself in the site.
yeah,
and
that's what I said. He wanted to
He
cut
had
off
to
the
reinforce.
rotate.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
had, like he was cutting
But
out the rotate, and
that's the
he
thing.
he made a decision saying that, look, if I just reinforce the wall, maybe I could use my primary weapon to hold off, or maybe try to go in for a pre-fire right from the
Yeah.
from the doorway. That's exactly
That
what
was
he was
probably
thinking at that moment.
yeah. That was
Yeah, but it
probably
was
what
too
he
late for him,
was
yeah.
thinking about. But again, you look at it this way: the push is coming from the breach on the the foosball room side, Ames room side, and the main entry from Trophy. Right.
Yep.
With that knowledge in hand, and the fact that they can and
5 seconds to
probably
insertion.
will go straight into tower, straight into attic, as Kid Esports have done before, from Trophy Door, you know, in the context of everything we've seen so far, it makes that decision just a little more questionable to me. And just in that moment, seeing that, I mean, I kind of lost it, all right? I'll give it up.
Alright. It's alright.
But,
I mean, it happens. I mean, we all.
but
make
yeah.
Just like we said, just like you said, Jack.
Yeah, I mean,
Mistakes.
error is human, but
It happens.
but come on, it was still kind of funny. You
yeah.
gotta give me that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. It just actually, it was. Yeah, it was actually a bit funny because. Anyways, as we talk about round 7, though, Jack, it is 4-2, and Kira Esports still need 3 more rounds, I believe, to get the spot into the semi-finals. And Envy, I actually forgot to talk about Envy from that previous round. He was lighting McQueen so fast that he would use his breach charge to open up lines of sight. But wait a minute, Nostalgia. You want to be able to see the head of the Maverick.
Oh.
He just sees the
Oh.
head. But for now, it's just a bit of a problem.
Oh,
Again, still trying to figure out a way to get the
Oh.
head, and it's going to be a moment of truth when he
What?
finds it.
Oh.
No! Too late, but he still contests this anyway.
Wow.
That's a good one, though. That's a good kill here from Nostalgia. Taking out Super Hercules right from the attic is going to put a huge dent in them. But also another kill where Envy goes down. Not looking too good for Sunset Ninjas. And talking about Nostalgia, who was so very patient on waiting for the Maverick to open up, to use that, you know, to try to use that breach. It would have been better if at least one of the attackers were at least holding out the windows of the attic to prevent that on such certain, you know, such certain events to happen. But yeah, that is quite unfortunate though for Super Hercules. He tried his best. He tried his best to open up the attic walls, but is it enough though? That's the big question for me.
I guess we'll only find out as, was that the sound of a deployable shield being retracted? I think it was, as the Gemini replicator will go straight in, try and get some information through that big window of dorms, but the third is right below. I don't think that Sunset Ninjas are quite aware. Deathamar has also fled below in the meanwhile, as a gas grenade will go off from the smoke. Montrosky is trying to contest on big window, but he can't do a whole lot right now. Ooh, Shaitan nearly got his head taken out, but he is safe. But Atharv, in the meanwhile, is going to make sure that Zane is no longer safe. There is still that rappel on that kid's dorms window, and a push in from the big dorms window, and it's going to be a bloodbath. Left here, Montrosky find a couple, but they need to get the plant started any second now. Montrosky, the one with the diffuser. He's been seen, though. Nostalgia's going to get him, and that's going to leave Lefty the last one standing. Where is he? Coming up white, but unfortunately, far too late. When did he even go down white? Was he with the rest of the push from big window? I believe he was, but no, actually looking at it now, I don't think he was, which means he had to come up white and do a whole thing, but that's unfortunate for the side of Sunset Ninjas. Coordination kind of didn't really come through from them, and it seemed like communications fell apart right at the end when they made the push from the kids' dorms window and the big dorms window. And both pushes were denied. Montrosky tried to get the plant off. He thought he had cover, and admittedly, where he was planting was kind of a bit of a corner spot, but unfortunately, it simply was not enough, as Kid Esports are now 1 round away from match point. That is correct. If they win this round, they go 6-2 up, and if they win from there, if they win map 2, well, it's a best of 3, and they've won 2 maps, which means they will go forward into the semifinals. Sunset Ninjas, it's all at stake here. They are going to need to try and get this round back, get this match back in their favor.
That's a tall order though, Jack, especially for Sunset Ninjas, only winning 2 of their rounds in the first half. Now,
10 seconds remaining.
it's just a lot to take in for Sunset Ninjas. And Kira Esports, we all know how dangerous they are on both attack as well as on defense.
Attackers are moving out to
They're
locate
just
a
not
bomb
going to
and
give an
defuse
inch.
it.
They are definitely not going to, you know, exploit or show any weaknesses. They're just going to wait for Sunset Ninjas to make their play and then just immediately destroy any players that they could see through. Talk about defenders. I was saying, talking about the attackers on the side of Sunset Ninjas. Super Hercules has been making quite a lot of great plays though. Talking about his KDA, 10 kills in his name. And with Kira Esports, I believe the one who has the highest kills would be none other than Death Hammer. Amazing plays coming in from both of these teams. And talk about Sunset Ninjas, they are giving it all they've got. It's just that Kira Esports they're just outplaying them left, right, and center. They have no idea on how to counter it. But for now, talking about Sunset Ninjas, I believe they've made a decision to open up the hatch towards the basement laundry stairs. And I believe they made a decision to go in for a split push, knowing that there are two players right from the freezer stairs as well as the basement laundry. They have to worry about one more player from construction, and that Amar might have something else to say, or Atharv dealt some major damage to Hercules. Oh boy, that was quite a lot of aggression being made there for Sunset Ninjas.
Alright then.
Oh boy, that just immediately gone south for the attackers. 2 kills for him. And also Shaitan going in for the refract to take out Death Hammer. The damage has been dealt. Talk about a minute and 30 seconds left. A beautiful shot though for Zayn to take out a third, putting it in a 3v3.
That was nasty from Zayn right there. That was good for the Iana, but of course he himself is very low on HP and he's still got a meta window to deal with Rhymes with Buck right behind it. So it's going to be very tough for the Iana to get through there. You still have Envy as well as Nostalgia bearing down their guns, the barrels of their guns, to try and take out these attackers. You have the smoke grenades coming in. Grenades themselves are coming in as well, but is it going to do anything? No damage done to the defenders as a push is coming in from the main laundry stairs. Shots fired from Freezer as well, but not a whole lot is happening regardless of that. And whoa, wait a minute, Shaitan's actually going to find Rhymes with Buck, but Zane's going to get taken out by Nostalgia, prone inside of Freezer. 2v2. There's still the Zofia. Does he suspect a prone peek? He does! Good shot right there. Nostalgia's off the board. Now it's all up to Envy. Shotgun out. He knows the range, and he knows he needs to just hang back and wait for one of them to push up. There's a thermite close. He's going to get the down. Can he get the kill? No, not quite yet. Shots are fired. It's an LMG. You got to do something about this, and he will. Calm as ever. He was even checking his crouch button in the middle of all that, Just making sure he didn't skip leg day, if you will. And actually got the double with the shotgun as well. Like I said, that range between the hallway door to freezer door, that is where the 590A1 is ridiculously strong. And we saw why and how as well. With all that being said, Kira Esports are now on match point, and should they win this one more round, they will be the ones, the first team of Challenger Series 1 to become a semifinalist. Sunset Ninjas have a massive amount of work ahead of them. Can they get themselves back at all?
Defenders, protect your bombs
Man,
from being defused by attackers.
so close though. Even with Shaitan taking out the Kaid who was prone peaked in freezer. It's just that they had to deal with Envy with the shotgun in hand. Played so perfectly. Just had to wait for the Zofia to make her push and to get shot in the head with the M5 shotgun. And now we will see Kira Esports on match point 6-2. And Sunset Ninjas needs to win 4 attack rounds in a row.
10 seconds left.
It is not looking too good for Sunset Ninjas. Not looking
5 seconds
good
to go.
at all. Although, the only thing that they can do right now is just
Attackers must
continue
locate
what
and
they
defuse
do,
the bomb.
have some hopes, and maybe if Kira Esports starts to slip away and try to use that to their advantage, maybe Sunset Ninjas might have something else to say. Talk about their pushes being made from Shaitan, the Sophia, who is slowly making his way from the construction. I believe his main concern would be to open up the walls from the dining room. And I believe that the Mira is still available for Kira Esports to play, knowing the ban phase is at Thatcher and Burmai. But wait a minute, the first kill will come in from Shaitan, taking off Envy right from the construction. This early kill should be favorable for Sunset Ninjas.
quite. It's the smoke gone as well. And you know that smoke is such a vital operator for defending teams to have. So with that operator being gone, well then, that is going to be quite difficult. Well, it's going to make things a little difficult for the side of Kira Esports, but given their performance in these last couple of rounds, they are still on track to potentially win everything right now. They just have to hold this round, but Nostalgia is going to go down to Zane, unfortunately, but Deathmar's here. He's going to find one. That's lefty off the board, and that is your Nomad gone. But they need a few more, and they're going to get that as well. Super Hercules goes down to Deathmar. It's a double kill for Deathmar. He's staying true to his name and bringing the death right now, but he's going to have to fall back. Turv is looking to replace the roam position. He is up here. Can he find one? Yes, he does. That's the down at least on Shaitan, and the flames are almost... No! Oh, no! Death Armor! Wait, what? Zane's grenade is going to find Shaitan as well as Ramsey Buck finds one on the white stairs. That is Zane off the board. A team kill for a team kill, a soul for a soul, as that is now going to leave Montrosky, the last one standing. All eyes on him from his team as he is in a 1v2. Deathhammer and Ramsey Buck, of course, are low on HP, so there's still a chance. He just needs some information, some positioning. So Turvis is going to give a sad face in the chat. Man, he did all that, went up, got the down on Shaitan, only to be blown to smithereens by his own teammate, no less. But regardless, not looking too good. Shaitan, on the other hand, of course, he was merely down but not out, but he too, had to face infinity by getting blown up to infinity and beyond. So now Montrosky pushes his way in towards security room. Does he know that the Valkyrie is here? I think he does, but no, doesn't connect, unfortunately, as the Valkyrie will be the one to finish off the round, and Kira Esports will be the ones to finish off the match. And they, ladies and gentlemen, are your first semifinalists for the AMD, the Challenger Series 1 here at the Esports Club. For Rainbow Six Siege. Kira Esports 7-2 on Oregon, 7-5 on Clubhouse. Sunset Ninjas, a fantastic set of matches. Unfortunately, they lost and will have to bow out. But worry not, we might still see them in Challenger Series 2 Qualifier 1 because the registrations for that are already open. Link is down in the description below. But regardless, what a match. A great match indeed. More so for Kira Esports, obviously, since they're the ones that won. And Oregon didn't quite go the way of Sunset Ninjas, but it was still a good enough showing from them, and we hope to see more from them in the coming months, whenever we see them again. Kira Esports are your first semifinalists, and they will fight against, I believe, the winners of Mercenaries versus Sage, but that, of course, is tomorrow, and we still got a little bit more to say about this game. Well, I've said what I need to say, mostly what I've needed to say, if you will. Baba, we're going to be going into the highlights in just a second. So, your 2 cents on the match that we just had.
Highlights. Talk about Sunset Ninjas, though. I'd say that they were off to a good start in the first half. I mean, you even had so much opportunities where Sunset Ninjas were going quite aggressive in the first half, where you see, either the Kaid or the Aruni, and even the Ella, who was at the main stairs, was a bit worried about the push being happening from the breach. So he decided to go in for a contest, but that contest did not work out so well because Ella was going aggressive rather than waiting for the attackers to make their push in towards the breached wall. And then there were some certain rounds where Kira Esports did, get their advantage, especially this double kill being made from a Thurv, getting an instant access from the freezer. And Montrosky was mainly the one who was doing a heavy work with the SMG-11 and the smoke shotgun. And I believe the last round was where Death Armor won that gunfight against Montrosky because he didn't have any information from the freezer. There were so many, reasons where Sunset Ninjas didn't get to, win most of their gunfights. And I might have to say this will be mainly due to information. Just like you saw, Jack, Montrosky had no information from freezer, even with the sledge shooting bullets. He even took out the ADSs from the blue bunker, and yet Montrosky didn't had that perfect information because he was mainly worried about the rotate from that specific spot. So again, less information did put Sunset Ninjas in a bit of a huge deficit, and Kira Esports were just, casually, understanding how, Sunset Ninjas were going in for the push. They just had to go in for the pressure. And that's exactly what Kira Esports did. They were cool, calm, and collected, and Sunset Ninjas was just trying to pressure Kira Esports to try to force them, or to force them to get out of the box. But unfortunately, it did not happen for them.
Yeah, unfortunate for Sunset Ninjas. They tried and they were still making some headway. Even in the rounds that Kira Esports ended up winning, they were taking either early kills or mid-round kills, but it simply was not to be. And of course, that double C4 grenade situation, I mean, that was just funny. There's no two ways about it. But all things considered, a great attempt by Sunset Ninjas. They played well. Unfortunately, they could not hold on to the momentum that they were gathering, and they had to, bow out here today. But hopefully, we will see them again in Challenger Series 2. Once again, qualifiers registrations are open. Link is down in the description below, so check it on out. Not just to Sunset Ninjas, but any team that has played here, hasn't made it this far, and any teams that want to try their hand in the Challenger Series. And on the other hand, congratulations to Kira Esports, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. They've still got the semifinals and potentially the finals to go through. And we'll see whether or not they can. That's, of course, on Saturday. Their matchup and further matchups will be decided tomorrow and day after, as we have two quarterfinal games. Excuse me, I made that mistake again. Two quarterfinal games tomorrow: Red Vipers versus Monkey Hunters LFO and Sage Empire versus Mercenaries. And then on the 27th of August, High Five versus Team GG. All of which promise to be very interesting games indeed. So until we get to those, that has been it from myself, Blackjack, my co-host Baba Gusta, here for the AMD, the Esports Club Challenger Series 1, supported by Ubisoft for Rainbow Six Siege. And we will be signing off here tonight, coming back tomorrow at roughly around 3 p.m. Mark down the time, set your alarms, get some popcorn, get some drinks, I guess, and we will see you all tomorrow. Stay tuned and good night.
The partnership with AMD has been great. In Far Cry 6, the team has built the most ambitious open world in franchise history, filled with lush tropical environments and decaying urban landscapes. To push the visual fidelity of our game and immersive gaming experience, we've been collaborating with AMD to implement next-gen rendering techniques like DirectX ray tracing and AMD Fidelity Effects features. When implementing these next-gen features, we were challenged because we want the majority of players to have an enjoyable, smooth experience without having to turn their settings down. Using upscaling technology like AMD Fidelity Effects Super Resolution helps us address this problem because it means more players can enjoy Far Cry 6 with their graphic settings cranked up and without compromising frame rate. FSR is a cutting-edge spatial upscaling solution. It's easy to integrate into our development pipeline, and it delivers substantial performance boost while retaining excellent image quality on the highest quality setting. Additionally, we believe AMD's GPU Open and the support for open standards and platforms drive innovation forward. We can't wait until October 7th when players will finally get the chance to see all the hard work we've put into Far Cry 6. It's very exciting that we're getting closer to showcasing to players the game, powered by the latest AMD technologies.